I want to get a lot of guests on here.
Salim's going to take lead. I'm down to be in it. It's not really work to play golf.
Join the party on the golf course.
I was like, let's go to the range. Oh! So what are we putting on it?
We said 10K, right? 10K? All right. We probably bet more than all the other golf channels, right? 10K, 9 holes. Those guys bet for like cookies.
I feel like I'm going to shank it.
This guy's been trading like a Navy SEAL when it comes to golf.
I'm very, very excited. You excited?
Yeah.
Full Send Golf. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Hey guys, Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central here to make sure your business and property parking lots are kept available from any unwanted cars taking up your spots with Schroeder's Towing. For instance, you're coming in hot to the game studios for your show and you park next door in an unauthorized lot with signage that was provided for free from Schroeder's Towing. Next thing you know, the show is in the books and your car is out of the lot. It really is that simple. That's a true story. Call Schroeder's today and keep those unwanted cars out of your lots. Online at schroederstowing.net.
Just dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
All right, one last look at your traffic and weather for your ride in on this Wednesday morning. Couple accidents to report, one at Charleston Highway near Pine Ridge, another one at Spears Creek Church Road in Two Notch, and then one more at I-26 eastbound, exit 102. Today, we're finally going to touch 90s, a high of 91 with plenty of sunshine, exact same for tomorrow and Friday, 94 with a mix of clouds and sunshine. All that here on your traffic and weather on the game.
Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The Extra Point with Tyler Head and Jack Veltri from Gamecock Central. Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network and on 107.5 The Game app.
9 o'clock on your Wednesday morning. Welcome in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head, Jack Feltry along with you here on The Game. I believe, Jack, today is tax day. Am I correct on that? If you've not done your taxes, you better get that done.
Yeah, had a final extension, so that was lovely. But yeah, man. Happy tax day. Happy Jackie Robinson Day also.
Jackie Robinson Day as well.
Yes, everyone around the MLB will be wearing 42 today.
That's a couple different ends of the spectrum, honoring one of the greatest baseball players of all time and paying your taxes on the same day.
Yeah, so it takes the focus off of having to pay your taxes. So happy Jackie Robinson Day if you want to celebrate that. We're a week away from Earth Day. So.
We're a week away from Earth Day. Earth Day is also my wedding anniversary.
Oh, dude, that is awesome.
Pro tip, if you want an anniversary that you're never going to forget, do it on a holiday.
Yes. Don't do it on 4th of July or Halloween.
Well, 4th of July is your birthday.
I know, but yeah, Caroline, that's also a big thing with deciding like when to do the wedding. She does not want it in July because then that's like having your birthday in July as well as the wedding. I mean, that's kind of an unfair advantage, I feel like.
Yeah, that leans more heavily towards you.
Yeah, it'd be the same thing if we were to do it in October because her birthday's on Halloween. So.
Yeah, you have to give enough, like, breathing room. And, like, it's not that you couldn't do it in, like, June or something like that. If you do it, like, early June, that gives you, like, a month to where they're not, like, back-to-back or right on top of each other.
And that's why we're hopefully going to do it around that time.
Okay,
so,
neat.
Yeah, but,
well, again, you guys got a lot of planning to do between now and then.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we do. So...
Be prepared for a lot of options being thrown your way. Yeah. That's all I can say.
You know, for all the planning I had to deal with the engagement, I think it's her. I think I'm just totally okay with her taking over the planning for everything else moving forward. And I'll be there to give my opinion. I will not be saying I don't know. I will give my opinion.
Okay, that's good because she's going to want some definitive answers on colors and foods and those kind of things. So you do need to have an opinion on those things.
Heck yeah, man. I will. I always give my opinion in general, so I will definitely be good at doing that.
Well, as this process goes along, report back on where you guys are at.
Oh yeah. I got you.
We're building towards Jack's wedding sometime coming up next year. But we got a lot to get into from a sports standpoint, including what happened last night over at Founders Park right after our Sandstorm Pick-Me-Up. It's time for your 9 a.m. Sandstorm Pick-Me-Up, brought to you by South Carolina's largest injury law firm, George Sink Injury Lawyers. If you've been hurt in the car or at work, call George Sink now at 803-ALL-9s. Last night, South Carolina takes care of Davidson 8-6 to extend their winning streak to 4 games, and for the first time in almost 2 months, get themselves over the 500 mark, and that's something that Monty Lee talked about after the game.
Well, we've won 4 games in a row. You know, I don't worry so much about we're at 500, below 500, above. I'm not as much concerned about that as much as I am that we're playing better baseball and we're finding ways to win close games. You know, we had a stretch there where we were losing those close games, right? And now we've been able to find a way to win the close games. 8-6 tonight, 6-4, 1-0, 5-2, I believe. So, I mean, we've been able to find a way to win those close games and get over that hump. So that just gives the guys confidence that, hey, you know, if we can do this. We can play 9 complete innings of baseball and find ways to win, you know, a tight ball game. And that's a good thing because it's good to have confidence late in a ball game with a lead versus feeling the pressure of trying to hold on. You know, we've got the confidence of like, hey, we get the ball to the right guys out of the bullpen and we play good defense behind them with a lead, we're going to win this game. And that's, again, teams that win a lot of games, that's what they do. You know, it's what you do with a lead. You ask yourself one question: if you got a good team, you got 9 outs to go with a 1-run lead, you're going to win the game. That's what good teams do. They win the tight ball games with 9 outs to go. And we've been able to do that as of late, and hopefully we can continue to do that.
So what does beating Davidson in a midweek mean in the grand scheme of things? Not a whole lot. Again, it does extend your winning streak to 4 and, again, get you over the 500 mark. But I think what he pointed out there was very important is that you didn't let the game get away from you, right? Carolina goes out there, has a phenomenal bottom of the first inning, gets up 5-1, and then immediately after that in the top of the second, Davidson answers back. And you're like, oh, no, it's going to be one of those games. And after that, the bullpen comes in, save for Josh Gunther. We'll get to him in a minute. Does their job, pretty much holds Davidson at bay. You get a few more runs later on in the game to help give you a lead there in the bottom of the 4th once again, and you hold on. And there is something to be said about winning a game in that way that at times we haven't seen them do this year.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. They've had a lot of close calls. I think, honestly, since Monty's taken over, they've been just about in mostly every game at this point, and they've lost some of those games that maybe it's like, oh, if this thing happens or that, they probably win those games. So, yeah, they're starting to figure out how to win these closer games and kind of respond to adversity in a lot of ways. And there was a lot of adversity last night. Riley Goodman really just has not had it this year. He hasn't found really any consistency and finding, how to become the pitcher that I think everyone envisions that he can be. Because the stuff is there. It's just he's kind of just going through a lot of freshman struggles right now. And I don't know if it's getting any better here because, he gave up 5 runs last night, 4 earned. Did not walk anyone, threw a lot of strikes, but he kind of left a lot of pitches in the zone, and Davidson took advantage of that. But that's what, it's okay because he's a young guy. You're trying to figure things out with him. It stinks that he's going through this, obviously, but you have such a good rest of the pitching staff to where, obviously evident by last night, they were able to back it up in a big way, pitching really well the rest of the way, only allowing 1 earned run after that, that rough second inning there from Goodman. So overall, good job by the pitching staff last night. And then, look at the bats. I mean, I think Monty brought it up last night, and I kind of agree with him. Every person in that starting lineup contributed in some way. 7 of the 9 starters recorded hits, and then the 2 guys that didn't, Patrick Evans and Jake Randolph, they both reached base via free pass. So everyone got on base last night. Everyone got involved in contributing in some form or fashion. And, yeah, when you score 8 runs, you're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, again, it was nice to see kind of everything come together for the most part in one game that, again, we haven't seen as much of this year. Going back to the conversation about Riley Goodman, I thought the comments that Monty Lee after the game last night that he made were interesting that, his control was better. He just kind of left too many hanging over the plate, but that's kind of one of those things like, okay, well, his problem initially was not being able to find the zone. Now he is finding the zone. He's just got to be better at, tricking the hitters a little bit more. So you hope that's kind of a step in the right direction. Look, he's still young. He's a redshirt freshman coming off of an injury from a year ago. Like, this guy still has time, assuming he sticks around, because we don't know, especially with the coaching change coming up here, in the summertime, that he may decide to go somewhere else. But if he decides to stick around, I hope last night of just being able to find the zone a little bit more is a step in the right direction for his development. Because, again, the knock on him in all of his previous outings was this guy's just all over the place, and he's walking guys, wild pitches that are scoring runners, and at least we didn't have that problem last night.
Yeah, and Josh Gunther was kind of in the same boat last night of he gets 2 quick outs yesterday, and then he starts walking a few guys, misses on a few of his pitches, and then before you know it, he's in a bases-loaded jam with 2 outs, and you're bringing in Parker Marlott to come and get the final out of the 7th inning. So with Josh, I asked Monty about it last night, like, what is kind of the next step here for him, and then what's the plan moving forward? Because obviously I'm sure South Carolina would like to have him in the rotation. We saw what he can do at his best when he's pitching against Clemson and Florida, and he's dominating those teams. But we've also seen what he looks like when he's at his worst. He's just been super inconsistent this year, and I really don't know what role he's going to be in moving forward. It kind of just feels like you're just trying to get him in some opportunities where there's not a ton of pressure, and you hope he can really figure it out. But it's clear right now he's just not hitting the zone like he was when he was really pitching well.
Well, and look, pitchers are head cases, right? It can take one minor thing, whether it be within the mechanics of pitching or something going on in their lives, to completely throw them off. When I look at what Josh Gunther did through his first handful of starts when he was one of your weekend guys, you mentioned the Clemson game, phenomenal outing. The first game against Florida that he did his best. The offense just let him down in that one. But after that, Arkansas, Georgia, and Texas just completely fell off a cliff. In these last 2 outings, he's come out of the bullpen, threw 3 pitches last week against College of Charleston. Can't really read too much into that. But again, last night, after getting 2 quick outs, he just can't find a way to get that 3rd out. And I don't know if we're ever going to get the answer to this from Monty Lee or Josh Gunther himself, but something has happened. There's been something that's happened in the past month that has affected him on the mound. I just don't know what it is, and I don't know if it's something you can fix easily or not.
It's a good point. I do think it's just as simple as he's just really not hitting his spots. Like, the walks are up. I think we've heard him talk about before, Gunther talk about how sometimes, and even Maneri mentioned this, I think in his last interview, was he just tries to be a little too cute, a little too perfect, hitting the zone. He's a little amped up at times. I think there's just a lot of different little factors that I think when you add them all together for an outing, it can really affect him on the mound. And I don't know really what the answer is to get him back to where he needs to be at. I think it's just as simple as you really need to try to get him to have a good appearance, and then from there you keep stacking them, because the problem with Josh this year has just been it's a solid appearance, and then it's a bad outing, and it's another solid outing, and then it's a bad outing, and then lately it's been bad outing after bad outing after bad outing. You need to find the way to get consistency with him, and not bad consistency. Find a way to get good consistency with him, because he is a good pitcher. It's just I just don't think he's really figured it out completely yet. He has at times, but just not put it together for a full season.
They'll have a couple days off before they get back in action against Mississippi State this upcoming weekend. Again, Mississippi State coming in off of a 6-game losing streak in conference play, dropping the series to Georgia and Tennessee at home the last 2 weeks. So hopefully you can take advantage of a team that may be struggling a little bit. And again, we talked about, my initial goal was to get to 7 wins in conference play, so you at least get the better mark than what you had last year at 6-24. But double-digit wins, not outside the realm of possibility either as you enter this back half of SEC play. And again, your opportunity to make the postseason is very slim at this point in time. But again, if you could salvage to get yourself around the 10-win mark, I'm not going to call it a success, but I think it's better than what we would have expected.
Totally. I think you definitely have a chance here to do some, get your season kind of back in a better spot here moving forward. I mean, you're 500 now for the first time since March 24th, and then from there, you have 8 more games in this homestand to really do some good things here. And I think winning a series this weekend would be another good step in the right direction, because they're playing better baseball. It's obvious. They've won 4 straight games. Ever since Monty took over, the team has been so much more competitive and right in the middle of a lot of games that they probably should have a few more wins right now. But yeah, they're playing good baseball, and the best thing about that is you have momentum, so you just keep on building on it from here.
Again, back in action against Mississippi State Friday through Sunday series this week for pregame coverage on Friday at 6:45, 12:45 on Saturday, and 1:15 on Sunday. Also, Carolina calls Miami Lee coming up tomorrow night at 7 right here on 107.5 The Game. We'll get into what Coach Beamer had to say about spring practice yesterday, including the summarization, as well as what's going on with the kicking battle and how important that's going to be this upcoming season. It is The Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri with you on your Wednesday here on The Game.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Since that win at Clemson by the Gamecocks, things haven't gone well. And when things don't go well, it's time to look back on the days when things were well. Yeah, let's spin back to the good old days on the Game Network.
Line drive, right field, base hit. South Carolina wins the College World Series.
Sellers in the pocket. Up in the pocket, gonna run inside the 20, 10. Lenore Sellers going left side, 5. Touchdown, Carolina. Touchdown. Touchdown, Lenore Sellers. From 20 yards out, the Gamecocks take the lead at Death Valley.
Now that's some good feels right there. From 107.5 The Game and the Game Network. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
Tyler here for our friends over at Twin Peaks, Columbia. I read the weather a little bit earlier on before we started the show, and it's going to be absolutely gorgeous here in Columbia over the course of the next couple days. Of course, we're in the midst of springtime and summer's not far away. And when you have a nice day, there's no better place to sit outside on a patio than over at Twin Peaks. You can order one of their daily or weekly lunch specials. Grab yourself a 29-degree draft beer and just take in the beautiful weather here in the city of Columbia. But if you want to be inside and take in all the great sports action, told you many times before, TVs as far as the eye can see to catch you up on whatever's going on when it comes to basketball playoffs, the hockey postseason, baseball, and so much more. All this with our friends over at Twin Peaks, right down the street from us here in the Vista. Eats, drinks, and of course, scenic views.
Mike Rowe here with a fun fact. Did you know that 50% of the air that you breathe inside your home comes from your crawl space? Yeah. Whether your crawl space is wet, musty, or your floors are bouncy, do yourself a favor and call a Groundworks company. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to repair your crawl space. Schedule a free inspection with Mount Valley Foundation Services, a Groundworks company.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Is your crawl space damp or musty? Water in your crawl space can cause wood to rot and creates an environment for mold and mildew that can make its way inside your home. Canty Foundation Specialist specializes in crawl space repair. Call us today for your free inspection so you can have the peace of mind knowing your crawl space is dry and your home is protected. Call today, 803-424-8380, or visit CantyCanFixIt.com.
Hey, this is Ray and Nathan with Pope Davis Tire and Automotive.
Last year's Technician Bikini Car Wash was a huge success.
But, unfortunately, Grease Lightning and Piston Pete left us for jobs at the club.
Don't worry, if you are feeling hot, we can still cool you down.
By fixing your car's AC for 30% less than the dealership charges.
And we have an $80 rebate on any set of Michelin or BF Goodrich tires until May 23rd.
Cool down online at PopeDavisTire.com.
The
Haven Harley-Davidson 4-day spring event runs April 23rd through 26th. Thursday kicks off with Grill and Chill. Friday brings an 80s-themed Back to Bike Night. Saturday features a bike and car show, plus a sound-off competition. And Sunday wraps up with Family Fun Day. Check out the new 2025 Street Glide Ultra with 0 down, 2.99% APR for 36 months, and up to $2,000 in customer cash on select models. It's all at the Haven Harley-Davidson. Discover more at thehavenharley.com.
The future stars of the PGA Tour are coming to Columbia. The Colonial Life Charity Classic is bringing championship golf to the Wood Creek Club May 14th through 17th. Be there to experience the intensity up close as tomorrow's champions battle it out on every hole. Bring the family and take in the tournament atmosphere, excitement, and a full week of entertainment built for all ages. Don't miss your chance to witness the journey to the top. The Colonial Life Charity Classic. Get your tickets now.
Average Owls. Our chairs sit, our tables stand.
You're not average. Your marketing results shouldn't be either. Cumulus Digital outperforms industry benchmarks by over 25%. See what Smarter Digital can do for you at cumulusdigital.com.
Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free.
The Extra Point.
And the kick is good.
With Tyler Head and Jack Feltry from Gamecock Central on the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Feltry with you on your Wednesday here on The Game. Yesterday afternoon, Shane Beamer gave his final address of the spring. His spring practice wrapped up over the weekend, and at the beginning, he kind of summed up everything that went down this spring for Gamecock football.
And then wrapping up the spring and recapping that, like where we are, got a lot of work to do, but feel like we made a lot of progress from the start of spring practice in March to now. And I like this team, the work ethic, the maturity, the intentionality about everything that they're doing. Even last Saturday, I mean, I think a lot of the teams in the country, if it was practice 15 on a Saturday morning, you got the Darius Rucker concert later on in the night, you're not having a spring game, would have not had the practice that we had. But we had a really spirited, energetic practice last Saturday, and those guys had fun out there competing, working, and making each other better. That was the theme of this spring, just the way they went out there and worked each and every day. So excited. We've got a lot of work to do. Like I said, summer is going to be huge for all of these guys. The months of June and July, or really May when they come back for summer school, but the end of May, all of June, all of July will be really big for our guys. We got to get healthy, but we're on the right track, have made a lot of progress, and looking forward to seeing the steps we take here going forward.
Jack, you got the opportunity to be out and observe several of the spring practices. No, you weren't here last week for the last one because you were on your trip, but from what you were able to put your eyes on this spring, what, if anything, does stand out to you?
I think just, you know, it is hard to gauge just what really does stick out in the whole grand scheme of things, just because we were only out there for, a little bit in these practice windows where you are just seeing a lot of individual work. Again, we're not seeing best on best or 11 on 11. We're really just seeing guys do individual work. And I think the one thing, if I can say anything that really did stick out to me, and this is just going to sound boring and whatever, but I think it is just the kind of the intentionality a lot of these new coaches coach with. You see just Stan Drayton very involved with the running backs and the skill position players. You just see him very involved. You see the offensive line. Look, that was a big criticism right out of the gate from practice, was the drills that they're doing. And we see Randy Clements coming out saying not like on Twitter, this is how the drill works and this is how you apply it to the game, essentially. And he gets results that way. So I think just that, seeing these new assistant coaches and kind of how they do their work, it's different. And I think it definitely is going to help South Carolina in a lot of ways. But it's also all part of the new practice structure that they've done this year, with a lot more focus on development and technique and just getting the little things right. And we'll see what it really does for this team when it comes to the season and how those hopeful changes will pay off eventually.
Well, and I go back to what Coach Beamer said a couple weeks ago in terms of changing that practice structure, because, again, last year so many of the fine details seemed to really fall through the cracks. And when you're dealing with so many new faces, either coming in from the high school ranks or coming in from the transfer portal, you just can't assume all these guys know all the same stuff. You can't assume they're all on the same level of football knowledge, quite frankly. Now, you would think if you made it this far in your career, and especially if you played in college before, you should be kind of on the same page, but that obviously wasn't the case, particularly when we talked about the offensive line a year ago. So tearing it down and going back to the basics and fundamentals, not a bad thing by any means. Now, again, you don't want to spend so much time doing that. You're taking away from your game planning and stuff once you get into the fall, obviously, but I have no problem with them being as basic as they need to be to make sure everybody just understands football the way that they need to make sure this team isn't making the same dumb mistakes it did a year ago.
Yeah, which is fine. That's kind of what spring practice should ultimately be about, especially with not having a game to prep and plan for. Like, yes, they scrimmaged, but I don't think it's the same thing as, being in front of a live crowd and you kind of have to treat it like a game in a lot of ways, and they do typically. So I think having the spring to not really have to, you don't have that at the end of the practice period. You can kind of just reset a little bit, let all these new guys, and I think that was probably the best move for the team just in general, because you had so many new faces in terms of players, but you also had a lot of new coaches that it's like, yeah, like this is their first time being here at South Carolina. Let them kind of get slowly acclimated. By the time August gets here, I expect things to kind of, maybe they'll stick with the same practice structure, but I think things will ramp up in terms of like, okay, these coaches know what they're doing now. They've had an entire spring to kind of get acclimated. No more of the slow burn process of adjusting to everything. They've been here for months now. It's time to ramp things up a little bit as the season begins. So it's good from that standpoint that the spring has kind of served that purpose in a lot of ways of getting back to the basics, like you said, but also just giving these guys some time to kind of adjust and figure things out here before the real part of practice and the season begins.
Do you have one overarching question you still have coming out of spring?
Yes, it is. What's the kicker situation going to look like?
Okay.
That was promptly brought up by Shane yesterday in his statement about how things have been going and where they saw improvements and just what is the next step. And I think the kicker situation now for the third straight year is kind of going to be this, okay, well, who's going to win that battle? And, it was a big talking point from yesterday.
We'll get into what he said about that coming up in just a minute here in the next segment. My question still lies, and I think for a lot of people, is how effective can the offensive line be, right? Because, look, much like the past handful of springs, pretty much every spring the Beamer's been here, we're hearing good things. The players are saying the right things. Coaches are saying the right things. You're seeing with your own eyes what you feel like are positives from Randy Clements and the way that he's going about working with these guys. I need to see it, though. Like, it's one of those things, you can tell me it's great, and you can tell me that you've got the best offensive line you've ever had in the Beamer era. I need to see it on display in actual games, and I'm not really going to learn that really until like week 3 against Mississippi State, right? So I'm glad they're saying the right things. I'm glad they're not saying, well, we're in trouble here and we haven't figured this part out. So that half is being done, but I need to see the proof of concept on the field before I believe it. And I think that goes for a lot of people in this fan base because, again, we've heard this every single year outside of maybe 23 when the injuries started to ramp up that you thought, okay, maybe this could be a problem. But the past couple of years, especially with the transfers you brought in, everybody's great, everybody's good, and they're going to contribute and all this kind of stuff, and you just haven't seen it be effective enough on the field, and I hope that changes this year.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, the offensive line is certainly going to be under the microscope this year, and with a new coach in there, new players, you're kind of hoping this thing's going to get right away. And I think those first 2 games really will help in a lot of ways with hopefully you don't allow any sacks in the first 2 games to Kent State and Towson. That builds momentum, that builds confidence. Like, hey, like this offensive line can go out here and do it. It'll be a different story when SEC play gets here and you're facing better defensive lines and better defenses every week. But, yeah, having those first few weeks to kind of get settled and hopefully play some good football will potentially do a lot for this team in trying to get back to where they think they can be in 2026.
It's one of those things you can't feel great about the offensive line for the first 2 weeks, dealing with Kent State and Towson, but you can feel pretty bad. If they're letting guys through, if they're just turnstiles out there, then we'll be able to say, okay, we're in trouble, especially when conference play starts. So it's only kind of one end of the coin there you hopefully don't have to deal with. But, yeah, go out there, do your job against the first two opponents, and then show us that proof of concept in the third game and onward.
Yeah, you could definitely feel bad. You're right. Like, if you give up a bunch of sacks, that's not good. At the same time, though, I do think there is something to be said. If they go out there and have good performances, I don't care who it's against. This offensive line needs to learn how to just, they need to learn what success looks like. And if that comes against Kent State and Towson, so be it. It's a good way to begin the year, to get that confidence right. It's no different than Lenore Sellers going out there and throwing 5 touchdowns in the first game of the year. It's against a nobody opponent, but it's good for the confidence because we just did not see him do that really at all last year. They're flashes, but you're trying to build consistent momentum moving forward here, and the way to do that is, again, I think playing these early games against teams that you're going to beat by 40, 50 points.
Jack mentioned the kicking situation, which was a big talking point yesterday with Coach Beamer. We'll get into what he had to say and how we feel about the kicking situation at South Carolina coming up next. It is The Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri on your Wednesday on the Game.
We have a new way for you to call the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Just dial pound 250, and when prompted, punch in the keywords, the game. And that's it. Again, pound 250 with the keywords, the game.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Hey, this is Jen Jensen for CHW Cabinetry. My family is using CHW Cabinetry, and they are fantastic to work with. They make sure you're satisfied with every step of the process. Not only do their photorealistic renderings show exactly what your new space will look like, their job site guarantees everyone is on the same page, literally. Experience the CHW difference for yourself. Go to chwcabinetry.com to see more, or call them at 803-520-6837, and be sure to tell them Jen Jensen sent you. CHW Cabinetry, passion from inspiration to installation.
Spring cleaning starts with Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Mention 107.5 The Game and get 3 rooms cleaned for $109, plus a free hallway. No one cleans like Zerorez. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, just carpets that stay cleaner longer. Take $100 off Air Duct Cleaning for a limited time. Air ducts circulate the air you breathe, and dust can end up right back on your floors. April appointments are filling up very fast, so don't wait. Visit ZerorezColumbia.com to book today.
Attention music fans, the 3rd annual Meeting Street Music Fest is happening April 17th and 18th in West Columbia. This award-winning 2-day festival features 11 incredible bands, including national headliner Sugar Ray, plus amazing food, drinks, and fun, and it's completely free. Join us Friday from 6 to 8 at the West Columbia Amphitheater and Saturday from 3 to 9 along Meeting Street. Make it a weekend getaway and experience one of the Southeast's fastest-growing music festivals. Learn more at meetingstreetmusicfest.com. That's meetingstreetmusicfest.com.
Hey guys, it's Jay Phillips for AAA Heating and Air. You know, every homeowner's dream is a house that cleans itself, right? Well, we might not be able to do that, but what if you could clean your air without lifting a finger, even when you're sleeping? AAA Heating and Air offers indoor air quality products that do just that. These products work with your HVAC system to improve your home's air quality. Cleaning the air eliminates common household odors, removes allergens and pollutants, and can even improve sleep and reduce the spread of some viruses. And remember, at AAA Heating and Air, home comfort is their top priority. Call today to schedule a seasonal maintenance appointment. Let AAA Heating and Air's qualified technicians put your mind at ease with a thorough inspection and cleaning of your heating and cooling system. Join their popular AAA Comfort Club to take advantage of extras like flexible visits, added discounts, and priority scheduling. Let AAA Heating and Air take your comfort to the next level. Call 803-677-1500 and schedule today.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Looking for a truck dealership that treats you like family? Come to Herndon Chevrolet, your truck headquarters, proudly serving Lexington and the Midlands for over 50 years. Whether you're after a brand new Silverado, a tough pre-owned truck, or expert service, you'll find it all right here with a huge selection and the best truck deals around. There's no better place to shop. Visit HerndonChevy.com or stop by today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile, smile.
The Colonial Life Charity Classic is coming to the Wood Creek Club right here in Columbia, May 14th through the 17th. This is your chance to watch the next generation of PGA Tour stars up close. Before Justin Thomas and Scotty Scheffler were household names, they were right here on the Korn Ferry Tour. This is where the journey begins. Every shot bringing them closer to the PGA Tour. Tomorrow's champions are teeing it up today. Get your tickets now for the Colonial Life Charity Classic.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app.
The Extra Point.
And the kick is good!
With Tyler Head and Jack Veltri from Gamecock Central. On the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri with you on your Wednesday here on the Game. Going back over what Coach Beamer had to say yesterday at his final spring press conference. Among things he talked about was the goals they were hoping to accomplish in the spring, which did include the kicking competition. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you've got as many new coaches, I think just acclimating those guys, David, and learning a new system defensively, offensively, new coaches coming in offensively, Dion Barnes, new on defense. From a goal for me was just those guys acclimating to how we do things, and in particular on offense, installing a new system and how we go from there, or how it goes from there. And I thought that was really, really good. I think we hit on that and like the work that we got done from an installation standpoint and where we are offensively. Really, really pleased with that. I think our players would tell you the same thing. Certainly we've got a battle going on right now from a field goal kicker competition and try to create some situations. We got a lot of kicks in practice, don't get me wrong, but we try and create a lot of situations within a 2-minute drive or situational football where maybe it ends in a pressure kick. And few of the days that we had those planned that didn't quite end in a pressure kick for whatever reason. Maybe the offense scored a touchdown, or maybe the defense kept them out of field goal range during a 2-minute drive. So would have liked to have gotten, a few more kicks in those type situations. But overall, I thought we accomplished a lot and attacked a lot of those goals that we needed to see going into the spring.
Jack, when's the last time you felt confident about South Carolina's kicker situation in an offseason?
Probably like when Mitch Jeter was here. He had that 1 year where he went perfect on field goals, so that was probably the last time, I'd say.
Do you know the last time South Carolina made a 50-plus yard field goal?
Oh, gosh, probably. Shoot, was it maybe like 23?
It was 23.
Yeah.
Mitch Jeter against Missouri made a 51-yard field goal. Carolina has not made a single one of those since. In fact, they've not attempted a ton because I just don't think you've had the confidence in your kickers the past couple of years. Alex Herrera in 2024, William Joyce handling the majority of the duties a season ago, to where, and especially for a team like South Carolina, where Coach Beamer holds special teams to such high regard, your kicking situation just has not been up to snuff. These guys haven't been disasters necessarily, but they haven't been like phenomenal either, right? They've just been average to below average for the most part.
It hasn't been as impactful as it should be, right? There's a lot of games where, it could come down to a big kick, and South Carolina just has not been able to get that for the better part of the last 2 seasons. Now, sure, did Herrera make a big field goal here and there? Yeah, like the kick against Clemson was definitely a big one, but there were a lot more misses. The one in the Citrus Bowl, there was the one against LSU. Like there are points where games do come down to what a kicker does, and for the most part, South Carolina didn't have that much success in that area. So hopefully this year it will be different. But, yeah, it's not exactly – and I don't think anyone's really expecting, Shane to go out here and say, this guy's going to be the starter at kicker. You still have an entire summer and fall camp to kind of figure out, okay, who your guy is going to be. But I don't think it's exactly reassuring when you went out into the transfer portal. You brought in Upton Belenfant to be maybe your potential option. But, yeah, it's just I think it's a little, I don't want to say disappointing, but it's not ideal to hear that, the kicker situation's still not great after knowing it hasn't been great for the last 2 years, and that's been an issue for South Carolina.
I will say, going back to, I believe it was fall camp last year, when Beamer was asked about the kicking situation, the battle that was going on between William Joyce, Max Kelly, and I feel like there may have been a third one in there that I'm forgetting about, but either way, the kicking competition, he said, and this was 2 weeks before the season, he said, I think it has been very inconsistent, basically saying he's not seen anything out of any of those guys that leads him to believe that they're where they need to be. And we obviously saw with William Joyce last year, it was shaky, to say the least. Maybe a little bit better than it was the year before with Alex Herrera. But that's why this addition of Upton Belenfant is so interesting to me. And again, he kicked at Buffalo for Pete Limbo 2 years ago. He was at Texas Tech last year, where he was more of a short-range guy. But he, in his time at Buffalo, was 7 of 8 between 40 and 49 and made 1 of 2 from 50-plus. So he's proven to be able to do that before. And he's just a guy that has experience, right? Because the last 2 years, you've had an Alex Herrera and a William Joyce, both guys that have been on campus for multiple years that had just never done a lot of kicking, right? And that worried me because we hadn't seen those guys prove anything on the field until the season started, where at least with Upton Belenfant, you can look back on his resume the past couple of years and say, okay, here's what he's legitimately done in college football at 2 prior stops. That does make me feel a little bit better.
It does. It does. I think ideally he'd be your kicker, but who knows? Is Max Kelly going to break through and become that guy? Do you even rule Mason Love out of this competition at all to some degree? I feel like we talked a lot about last year that maybe he'll pull double duty or technically triple duty since he was also the holder for South Carolina. Does he potentially break through and become the guy?
He can't hold and kick at the same time.
That is true. So you're going to have to figure out someone else to hold at that point. But I think, it's also interesting. Beamer was asked yesterday, is there a potential of going out into bring someone else in this summer? Is that an option on the table? And do you want to play the cut from that?
Yeah, we can. This is Coach Beamer yesterday being asked a question about possibly bringing in another kicker this offseason.
We've looked at it off-season, meaning going into this season. Yeah, we've looked at it, David. I would say right now, probably not, but I wouldn't completely, shut the door on that. I think I really like where we are right now. Upton and Max are really out there, battling it out and doing a nice job. I think both those guys are really, really talented guys that had good springs that, I walked out of spring feeling confident about the kicking position. But again, like all positions, if there's ever an opportunity to add somebody to the program that you feel like can make the team better, I'm never going to close the door on that. But is there anything imminent or anyone that I think is likely at this point? No, but who knows what happens between now and August.
And again, that's better messaging than we had a year ago. And again, sounds like he seems pleased with what he's seen out of Belenfant and Kelly so far. And kicker is probably the one position battle that is more straight up than anything else, right? Because it is truly about what you do as an individual. Are you putting the ball between the uprights compared to the other guy, right? And now again, there's a difference between doing it in practice and doing it in a game, but I feel like that competition is more straightforward than any other position battle you're going to have the entire offseason.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And you're hoping these guys, someone can emerge, and it's this guy is your definitive guy, and he was really kicking well during fall camp and really doing his part. You're kind of hoping that's the answer that is said in media availability or whatever when it comes time. You're hoping right now these answers of, it's been a little inconsistent, it hasn't been perfect. You're kind of hoping that is just because it's so early, it's the spring, and by summer and by fall, but before the season starts, you're kind of like, okay, yeah, this guy has been really kicking well. Hopefully all the kickers are doing well, and it becomes a tougher decision from that standpoint of picking the best guy from a few guys that are kicking really well. But right now, it doesn't feel like that from what was being said yesterday.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things you'd like to be in a situation where it's impossible to choose between both guys because they're both just making everything. And at that point in time, if one struggles, you can put the other in and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens, but definitely an intriguing battle to keep your eye on as we go through the offseason, fall camp, and obviously leading up into the season. We'll come back. We'll wrap up hour number 1 with a Would You Rather Wednesday. Do you want to take your cell phone into every sporting event or be forced to keep it outside? We'll discuss that coming up next. It is The Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Feltry on your Wednesday on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach. Gamecock fans, get ready for something new this season. Charleston now has a new station for Carolina sports talk. Dial in to 96.9 The Game on HD3. Head to 96.9 FM and on an HD radio, punch into HD Channel 3. You'll unleash live Carolina coverage you can listen to all day long. New on HD3. It's 96.9 The Game HD3, South Carolina's newest sports station.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
The NFL media landscape has been rocked. Senior insider Diana Rossini officially stepping away from The Athletic, effective immediately after photos surfaced of her locking fingers and sitting in a hot tub and hugging NFL head coach Mike Vrabel, which you probably shouldn't do in public in general, but she did, and now she's stepping away. I'm Drake Toll.
The best mornings in the morning light start with Wrangler. I put on my jeans and I feel all right. Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I left the pizza box on top of my car before driving home. Not smart. Oh, and a semi just turned my deep dish into a thin crust.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
When I wake up, the best mornings in the morning light start with Wrangler. I put on my jeans and I feel all right. Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code EARN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code EARN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code EARN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
As a social influencer, my days can be busy. 4 a.m., I hit the gym. 4:32, protein smoothie. 5:08, save time and money bundling my home and auto insurance with Progressive. Wait, if I bundle and save time, what would I do then? Just sit here and reflect? Like, why am I qualified to influence anyone? And how those weights are hollow? And half of my followers are bots.
You could save time and money bundling your home and auto when you switch to Progressive. It's one less thing to worry about during your already busy day. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Spring's the season to plant, grow, and glow up. Save on gardening staples from Lowe's during Mulch Week with Stay Green Premium 2 cubic foot mulch. 5 bags for $10 and select 1 pint annuals for $1. Plus, rewards members get 5 times the points on an eligible mulch purchase. Because you know how we roll. Members get more at Lowe's. Valid to 4/15 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Point boosters subject to exclusions and more terms apply. Activation required.
Extra Point with Tyler Head and Jack Veltri from Gamecock Central on the Game Network and the 107.5 The Game app.
Welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri wrapping up hour number 1 on your Wednesday here on the Game. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday. Of course, we've talked a lot of Masters over the course of the past couple days. And one conversation that I feel like happens every single year, but I've seen it maybe more prevalently this week, is the conversation around cell phones at the Masters, right? Where you're not allowed to bring your cell phone in, and again, they're going to be looking into maybe cracking down on more wearable technology like Apple Watches, Meta glasses, and stuff like that. But you see so many pictures from the Masters of like everybody just kind of being in the moment and enjoying what's in front of them as opposed to trying to get a picture or a video or scrolling TikTok or whatever it may be. And my would you rather question for you today, Jack, is would you rather have access to your phone at sporting events or have it almost kind of force you to leave it outside where you don't have it when you go inside?
I kind of like the way the Masters does it, and I kind of wish we would see this at more gatherings and events, not just sports, because I think there's, I saw a photo the other day of the side-by-side of the Masters where you got everyone just living in the moment and just enjoying it. And then you got when LeBron James broke the NBA's all-time scoring record like a season or two ago, and every single person, standing behind the basket has their phone out, holding it up. With me, I understand it. Like I've been there, done that. Recording a moment that's like, wow, like that's pretty cool. I understand that, but I also, if it were up to me, I would much rather just have my phone put away and just watch the moment with my own eyes. And I know not everyone's like that, but I do. After going to the Masters 2 years ago and kind of just, it's a little adjustment at first for sure. Like you kind of like feel for your pocket and you're like, this is weird. It's like you're naked. Like you don't have like your phone. It's weird. But it just takes you back to, that's what the Masters is all about. I feel like it takes you back to a time where things were just so different, and the Masters is kind of stuck in time in a lot of ways, even though they have, I think, tried to adapt a little bit to some degree without getting too far away from its principles. So I like the way the Masters does it. I wish more sporting events would do that to some degree. I know it's not possible everywhere, but I like the way the Masters does it.
Yeah, and the Masters kind of, it was grandfathered in because they'd always just kind of been a limited to no technology type of place. And when cell phones came on, they jumped on it pretty quickly of, hey, you can't have those in here, as opposed to, if let's just say football games this year at Williams-Brice Stadium that said, hey, you're not allowed to have cell phones anymore. It wouldn't be as well received because, again, you have a long history of being able to have those things in there. But I do think that forcing you to do it, because if you're voluntarily giving up your phone, like I'm just not going to take it in with me, that's something you may not want to stick to. But if your only way in is to leave those things outside in your car or whatever it may be, it forces you, like you said, to be in that moment. And that's something that I try and do more of, because again, for the purposes of our job, we have to be on social media, on our phones and all that kind of stuff. And I, like everybody, fall into the doom scrolling rabbit hole, and I look up and I've wasted 30 minutes of doing nothing but scrolling on Twitter or whatever it may be. So when I can have those moments, like on Saturday at the Darius Rucker concert, I made it a point like, hey, I'm not going to like be on my phone as much as possible, certainly not while the concert's going on. And as I was doing that, I was just taking in what I was seeing in front of me, but I could also see all these other people in front of me, below me in their seats and stuff like that on their phones. And yeah, some were taking pictures and videos and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. But other people were like, you're scrolling TikTok in the middle of a concert. There was a dude a couple rows down from us that was playing, the pool game you can send to your friends on like text messages. He's playing that like the whole concert. And I'm just like, are we really this bad as a society when these kind of things are happening? And again, I'm guilty of it too. Like, I'm not saying that I'm immune to it, but in a moment there where I was kind of forcing myself to be away from my phone or not use my phone, it really stuck out to me how many people were.
It's just like you're paying to be there at an event, and I think that's why the Masters gets it right, because it's like just only so many people get to go to this thing. Like there are millions of people who don't get accepted into the lottery and whatnot, and it's just so refreshing to see everyone just like, yeah, there's no phones in sight on the 18th hole when Rory McIlroy, even though the TV view was terrible with him hitting that final putt, you just see everyone go into pandemonium, and it's like no phones are out, and it's just so different where you would never see that moment happen the way it did with everyone have their phone out of this where any other PGA Tour event. It's the way things are now, and I just don't know what the answer is other than, and it's not as simple as saying, yeah, like we're not going to have phones. Like there are going to be people that would sneak phones in still. Like if you did this at South Carolina, like I guarantee you there are thousands of people that are going to sneak their devices in, right? It's just the way it is. But I do like the way Augusta does it. It does not need to be like that everywhere. But I think for certain situations, it definitely should be.
Yeah, and again, they had the capability of being very old school and very classic to where it's very accepted. And again, there's a wait list a mile long of people that are dying to get into the Masters. So if somebody says, well, the phone's a deal breaker, I'm not going in with my phone, well, guess what? There's somebody ready to take your spot. So and the Masters know that, and I'm interested to see how they maybe readjust things when it comes to some of that other wearable technology that I know they think could become an issue here very soon. But yeah, that's one of the special things about it, because it reminds us of a time for those of us that can remember before those kind of things, phones and those kind of things really kind of dominate our lives. And again, I think we all need to be better in terms of how much time we spend on them. Again, I'm guilty of it too, and the Masters kind of forces that out of you essentially.
Yeah, I know. I just wish there were more opportunities for that. But again, when I am at a game, like, for work, it's a little different because I have to have my computer out and I have to have my phone ready to tweet and whatnot. But when I'm at a game, like as a fan of just a sport in general, like, yeah, I'm not trying to be on my phone every 5 seconds. Maybe during in between innings, but even then, there's always something going on at these sporting events that they try to grab your attention. It's just not everyone's built like that. A lot of people are just glued to their phones, and that's the way society is, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is what it is, and we're all trying to build our attention spans back up in the process. 1 hour in the books, hour number 2. We'll dive into the latest on men's basketball in the transfer portal. Some of the names that Carolina was looking at going elsewhere. But that coming up next. Extra Point here in the game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
All right, everyone, as we close out the first hour here, AAA Heating and Air Home Comfort is their top priority. Call today to schedule a seasonal maintenance appointment and let AAA Heating and Air's qualified technicians put your mind at ease with a thorough inspection and cleaning of your heating and cooling system. Join their popular AAA Comfort Club to take advantage of extras such as flexible visits, added discounts, and priority scheduling. AAA Heating and Air also offers indoor air quality products that do just that. These products work with your HVAC system to improve your home's air quality. Cleaning the air eliminates common household odors such as removes allergens and pollutants, and can even improve sleep and reduce the spread of some viruses. So go to callAAAtoday.com for more info. Again, that is callAAAtoday.com. Tell them Jack from 107.5 The Game sent you.
Whoa. Okay, this one says you get a free phone if you switch. Hey, this one also says you get a free phone if you switch.
Yeah, they all do, hon.
Wait. The T-Mobile one says families saved over $3,700 versus the other big guys in the past 5 years. And their experience plans have Netflix included, plus a year of Dash Pass by DoorDash.
Hang on, let me see that. And a 5-year price guarantee? Oh yeah, we're switching.
That's what I'm talking about. Do we clap now, or?
I'm thinking high five.
At T-Mobile, get savings that keep stacking up. That's value you can feel every day. Switch now at T-Mobile.
Savings based on Harris X billing snapshots from Q3 2021 to Q4 2025 among accounts with 3+ voice lines compared to AT&T and Verizon, excluding discounts, credits, and optional charges. See harrisx.com/T-Mobile. Price guarantee on talk, text, and data. Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
Spring cleaning starts with Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Mention 107.5 The Game and get 3 rooms cleaned for $109, plus a free hallway. No one cleans like Zerorez. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, just carpets that stay cleaner longer. Take $100 off air duct cleaning for a limited time. Air ducts circulate the air you breathe, and dust can end up right back on your floors. April appointments are filling up very fast, so don't wait. Visit ZerorezColumbia.com to book today.
Attention music fans, the 3rd annual Meeting Street Music Fest is happening April 17th and 18th in West Columbia. This award-winning 2-day festival features 11 incredible bands, including national headliner Sugar Ray, plus amazing food, drinks, and fun, and it's completely free. Join us Friday from 6 to 8 at the West Columbia Amphitheater and Saturday from 3 to 9 along Meeting Street. Make it a weekend getaway and experience one of the Southeast's fastest-growing music festivals. Learn more at MeetingStreetMusicFest.com. That's MeetingStreetMusicFest.com.
Learning to drive, getting married, the birth of your children. These are the life-changing events you remember your whole life. I'm Jason Reynolds. A serious injury changes your life too, in a very different way.
I'm Stephen Samuels. At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we get you. We can't erase the injury or change the past, but we can get you through the pain and anxiety and help you on to a brighter future.
We get South Carolina because we're true South Carolina. Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
Hendrick. Why shop for a Chevy or GMC the way you always have? Shop the nation's #1 dealer group, Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Buy now, but make no payments for 3 months. Experience the Hendrick difference. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WMKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station.
Oh, yeah.
The Extra Point with Tyler Head.
And the kick is good.
Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network.
Welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri with you here on your Wednesday on The Game. We'll get into the latest on the men's basketball transfer portal coming up in just a moment. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show when we were talking Gamecock baseball, Joyce Edwards threw out the first pitch last night over at Founders Park. What's your rating on her first pitch ability?
Well, she went from the mound, so that's a good step right there. Not everyone does that. I would also say, she threw it over the Well, she got it to the plate. I don't know if she threw it over the plate, but it was not like it was an errant throw or anything, or she didn't bounce it. So I would give it like a B. I think a solid B grading, I think, was good.
Okay.
It wasn't like a perfect strike. A perfect strike gives you typically an A, and it has to be from the mound. But she went from the mound, and she got over the, she didn't bounce it. So definitely a B.
I don't doubt that at some point in her athletic career she played softball or something like that. So her ability to throw a smaller ball than a basketball doesn't surprise me at all.
No. But it was, they had the whole, it's funny though, they had the whole team there and a few potential recruits. And then as soon as she threw out the first pitch, they were out. It's like they left like right afterwards. So I think that, I'm sure they were just there to see Joyce and then afterwards just get on the move. So
yeah, I was going to say you were kind of helping out our guy Chris Walbaum a little bit by being the eye in the sky when it came to some of the potential future Gamecocks that were in attendance as of last night. And you posted the tweet there where it looked like both Olivia Edwards and Jordan Lee were at the game. Edwards, the former 5-star that decommitted from Tennessee recently, Jordan Lee from Texas that is obviously on a visit with South Carolina last night.
Yeah, so a lot going on for the women's basketball team. And then the men, man, I mean, we're kind of just waiting for more activity here. It feels like they got guys that they're interested in, but only one commitment still to this point.
It is interesting, right? Because especially for a sport like basketball where you have a lot smaller of a roster to fill out. And now Carolina had a lot of guys leave and lose eligibility, so you're filling out a bigger party roster than a lot of other schools out there. But you kind of would think this would go quickly, right? And look, Mincy really kind of committed before he was really even on campus, it felt like, this past week on Friday. And you kind of thought that was going to be the snowball to where you'd get a good run of commitments in the next coming days. Now we know that Rowan Brumbaugh was on campus 2 days ago, for his visit back on Monday, the transfer guard from Tulane, but we haven't heard anything outside of that. It seems like Cincinnati is maybe the favorite for him, and he's also still thinking about the NBA, so we don't know which way he's going to go. As of now, though, I don't believe we have any other visits confirmed for anybody coming on campus, correct?
Let's see. Not that I'm aware of, but they did have, I think there is interest in this guy from Iowa, Alvaro Folgueras. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He's a 4-star forward in the portal, so we'll see what happens with him. I'm kind of just looking here. Let's see. You had Mincy, you had Brumbaugh, but nothing more beyond that in terms of visits.
Now you are getting a situation where a couple guys that were on your list are starting to commit elsewhere. Riley Allenspach, who's also a teammate of Corey Mincy's at George Mason, has committed to Cincinnati, and Samet Yogotolu, who we talked about at the end of last week, the big from SMU that put up really solid numbers in his time there, has also committed to Indiana. And we're not at like the panic part yet. Like, okay, we need to start wondering what the heck's going on. But, you hope very soon you start rolling in more commitments and start filling out what, again, is a roster with a lot of holes on it.
Yeah, you're hoping so. I mean, some of these guys have started committing elsewhere. Like you mentioned, the guy committed to Indiana there. Apparently Carter Knox is committed to Louisville. So, I mean, you have a few guys that are committed to other places now. And, the thing is, look, you're going to have a bigger budget, but that's only one part of the equation here. Money is definitely a factor. Let's not make let's not make a mistake about it. Money can definitely sway a guy. I think there is it's like a big cloud just hanging over the program right now of, yes, Lamont is back for next year, but, I mean, is it going to be his last year there? I mean, there's so much uncertainty with that, but also just, I think a lot of guys do care about the money first and foremost, but you see that, yes, you're playing in the SEC, but, I mean, I think everyone sees it. I mean, yes, to some degree, the crowd's not being good. I understand it. Fans don't want to support a bad product. I get that, but guys want to go play at places where it's a sold-out arena and it's intense and it's a lively atmosphere. South Carolina doesn't have that right now, so that's kind of going against them too to some degree, and that's something that they're going to have to fix. And I think that comes with just playing better basketball, because I don't think there's any promotion or anything that they can do outside of just playing better on the court that's going to bring the fan base back to the arena.
Yeah, I mean, hypothetically speaking, if they went out there and landed one of the number one portal guys, 5-star portal guy that's going to command, $3 to $4 million or whatever this year, that's something that could draw a lot of fan interest. But I don't think that's what Carolina's going to do, especially considering the fact of how many holes they have to fill and what you lost from this past year's team. I think you're going to have to manage your money smartly, right? Yeah. Now, that doesn't mean you can't go out there and get guys that command a lot, that hopefully their play matches that, but you're not in a position where you can just blow a bunch of money on one player and surround it with nobodies. You have to have a good, solid group of your starting 5 and a bench as well, where you kind of spread the money out as evenly as you possibly can, probably.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's going to cost a lot to put together the roster that they want to put together, and hopefully they will have the necessary assets to be able to do so. But yeah, and I agree. I don't think bringing in one good player is not going to solve the fan dilemma right now. I mean, Eli Ellis was here last year. He's a highly talked about player, and yet the crowds were terrible pretty much all season. And even in a year where you had Colin Murray Boyles, like the crowds were decent at times, but then they also really fizzled out. So it's like I don't think that's necessarily the answer. Just build a good team. You know, it just does not work where you have a star player and then everyone else. That's just not. It's not going to work. You got to have good, talented basketball players all around the floor. That's what you had 2 years ago when you made the NCAA tournament. Not really a coincidence. So I think you just got to go out here. Hopefully you get some commitments here soon. Hopefully some guys are bought into what can happen here at South Carolina. I mean, yes, give them the money that you need to give them for sure. That's going to be the selling point. But beyond that, hopefully the selling point, the message that you're trying to get across is something that can convince guys to come here, because there are a lot of factors that definitely are, against South Carolina with how stiff the competition is in this conference, how there's a lack of support from the fan base, and just not being a good team the last few years. So it's going to be tough to sell guys on that, and we'll see what kind of impact that makes on how the roster's filled out as the portal continues.
Well, if you need anything to ease your mind, we look around the SEC. Carolina is one of many teams that's had a lot of guys transfer out. Kentucky, LSU, Ole Miss all have around 7 to 8 guys that decided to leave. And looking elsewhere in the SEC, only, Texas, Missouri, and Tennessee have more than one player that has come in out of the transfer portal so far. Texas and Missouri each have gotten 2 transfers in, while Tennessee has had 3. But Florida, A&M, Oklahoma, Arkansas, these schools, Alabama, only have 1 guy committed so far, just like South Carolina, and Auburn, Georgia, LSU, and Kentucky have yet to receive any commitments out of the portal up to this point. So as much as it seems like you might be falling behind, you're not there yet. Again, I just think to ease the mind of the fans, you hope things start coming in soon, because, again, you have among the biggest holes to fill on your entire roster of a lot of teams in the SEC.
Yeah, you have a lot of turnover. It's going to be very similar. I don't think it'll be as drastic compared to last year, because you are bringing a few guys back. But for the most part, it is going to be a mostly new roster this year. And I think hopefully with more resources, you can get the guys you want. But again, it's just there. I think there is that overshadowing cloud of just everything that went wrong the last few years. And yeah, I mean, look, if South Carolina is offering, let's say South Carolina is offering, I don't know, $1.5 million to a guard, and then another school in the SEC is offering $1.5 million. Well, odds are that program's going to be in a much better position than South Carolina. And if that school can offer the same amount of money plus everything else that Carolina plans to offer, then why would you go to Carolina? I think that's the dilemma that South Carolina has to deal with, and I think that's what they kind of have to work around here. And I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know what this roster will ultimately shake out to be, but hopefully you can start landing some of these guys that, are drawing interest from other big-time programs, and hopefully they can, steal a few guys in that sense.
Fingers crossed. Again, Rowan Brumbaugh, the latest to be on campus, back on Monday. The guard from Tulane, again, we'll see what he decides to do, whether it be committing here, committing elsewhere, or ultimately going to the NFL. But I tell you, if he committed here, you'd feel pretty good. I think we talked about this yesterday, about what your backcourt is between those two guys. If you have Brumbaugh running the point and Corey Mincy is more of your second scoring option there, because both these guys have proven that at their prior stops.
Yeah. NBA, by the way. You said NFL.
Oh, sorry, NBA. That draft's coming up in a week and a half.
Yes.
So I get the wires crossed sometimes.
Yeah. I don't want anyone coming after you thinking, oh my God, what's this guy talking about?
Yeah, we all make mistakes. It's okay. We'll get into football, by the way, coming up next. The Athletic put out a pretty interesting article the other day about homegrown quarterbacks in the SEC. When's the last time each school had one? We'll dive into that coming up next. It is The Extra Point. Tyler Head along with you and Jack Veltri on your Wednesday on the Game.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
South Carolina men's head basketball coach Lamont Paris is coming back next year, and Coach Paris has to fill out his roster, so the transfer portal will be vital to success in 2026-27.
All this isn't about just NIL. I think there are a lot of components to putting a team together. How do pieces fit together? What does a player play? The fashion and style of ball that you would like roles are important.
And the game will dig into every player.
Even what they ate in elementary school.
On your home of everything Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
And the Game Network.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
All right, everybody, let's tell you about our presenting sponsor here on the Garnet Trust Hour. It's our friends over at Krantz Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. KrantzCooling.com, Krantz, cooling with a K.com. You've heard us talk about them here on the program every single week. HVAC service, local, reliable for your home or your business. Repair, maintenance, and installation. They've been out to my home for new installations, for maintenance, for repairs. They've been out to Wes's home, too. You can trust Justin Krantz and his local family-owned business since 1983. They've been helping Midlands families and businesses with any of their HVAC needs. We're excited to say how they've added plumbing to the business. So whether you have heating needs, air quality for your indoor spaces, or plumbing needs now, 803-672-3224 or KrantzCooling.com. Give them a call today for any of your heating, cooling, plumbing needs.
The future stars of the PGA Tour are coming to Columbia. The Colonial Life Charity Classic is bringing championship golf to the Wood Creek Club May 14th through 17th. Be there to experience the intensity up close as tomorrow's champions battle it out on every hole. Bring the family and take in the tournament atmosphere, excitement, and a full week of entertainment built for all ages. Don't miss your chance to witness the journey to the top. The Colonial Life Charity Classic. Get your tickets now.
Hey, this is Terry Ford. Got a little story time for you. If you're a business or property owner and you're needing to deter any unwanted cars from parking in your parking lots, definitely call Schroeder's Towing. They'll provide signage for your business completely free of charge. Anytime a vehicle is parked in your lot that shouldn't be, Schroeder's Towing will be there to make sure your lot stays open for your employees, customers, and tenants. Trust me, I know firsthand what happens when you ignore Schroeder's Towing signage. Just go online at schroederstowing.net.
Just dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring correctional officers statewide. Officers must be at least 18 years of age and have a high school diploma or GED. If you have correctional, police, security, or military experience, you can join their team at a promotional rank as a sergeant or lieutenant. Discover a rewarding correctional career with a room for long-term career advancement and a generous employee benefits package that cares for you and your family. Visit joinscdc.com to apply today. Sponsored by SC Department of Corrections, SCBA, and this station.
Since we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see and hear lots of lawyer ads. It seems that most are bragging on what they got their clients. But be careful. If you heard that someone sold their car for $500,000, you would be impressed. But if you later learned that it was a rare $10 million Ferrari, would you say that person got screwed? And that's before you even know if it's true. Who is fact-checking? And how much went to medical bills and lawyers' fees? If you want to get an idea what your case may be really worth, visit forthepeople.com and go to settlements and verdicts. You will see what a law firm like ours is capable of. And fact-check for yourself. All that glitters is not gold. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won big, a lot. At Morgan & Morgan, we represent consumers. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Oh, yeah. The Extra Point with Tyler Head.
And the kick is good.
Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri with you here on your Wednesday on The Game. So we're coming away from spring practice. A lot of football discussion to be had over the course of the next couple months as we lead up to the start of the 2026 college football season. And we're going to talk a lot of quarterbacks, which anytime I come across something talking about quarterbacks in the SEC, it always grabs my attention, which is why when I came across an article from the other day on The Athletic by Antonio Morales, it piqued my interest because it was talking about quarterbacks that, I'll use the quotes here, are homegrown by their schools and how rare that's becoming in college football. In fact, Lenore Sellers has the ability to become the first in over a decade for South Carolina to be signed, developed, and stay their entire time at the University of South Carolina during their college football careers. Jack, do you know the last time that happened here at this school?
Where, so that the same kind of situation plays out, essentially?
Yes, so that guy was signed out of high school.
Yeah.
Developed here at Carolina, stayed his entire college career, never transferred, and was never dismissed from the team. Do you know the last time that happened here? And they had to have started at least one full season.
Who, Dylan Thompson?
That was Dylan Thompson.
Yeah.
Back over a decade ago. That was last time. 2000. He signed with the 2010 class, and then his last year was 2014.
Yeah.
But it's been that long since, and again, I'm not talking about backups here, that a starting quarterback for at least one season was signed out of high school, developed here, and played their entire career here.
Yeah, and Connor Shaw was the same exact way, right? So, that's like, I feel like that's the last time you could say for a lot of schools.
Yep.
Yeah, specifically before the portal became what it is now, to where guys are just entering right and left.
Right. Now, you've seen success at times with guys like Rattler coming out of the portal, before Sellers got here. So I don't think it's a detriment to not have a guy, to not be consistently doing that if you're getting the right guys out of the portal. But I think it speaks volumes to how rare the Lenore Sellers types are in college football these days. And again, we know he got his offers to go elsewhere. And it's funny, that article, I think it was from The Athletic as well, popped up again the other day. That Dov Kleiman Twitter account.
Yeah, that engagement farming Twitter. I don't
fake
even know
engagement farming, whatever he is, put the quote back out about his father telling him he didn't need $8 million. So that's kind of reopened up the conversation around that, even though that story was from 8 months ago.
Yeah, it's old news. So, but I think it just, again, it's relevant to the discussion we're having. Relevant to in general, no. It was kind of just a random tweet put out, to be honest, a year too late. But I think it does speak to, the fact that it is rare. And yes, Lenore's has had opportunities to go elsewhere, but he stayed at South Carolina. And it's just you don't really see that much anymore. You see guys want to take the easy way out and find opportunities elsewhere, which is not a problem. I don't have an issue with guys feeling like, yes, if your time at one school didn't work and you feel like you need a fresh start, by all means, transfer. Do what you got to do. Do what's best for you and yourself. But obviously, it's clear that Lenore has a good head on his shoulders with his parents, and making a commitment means something. And staying at South Carolina is just that.
Well, and some schools have kind of made it part of their identity that they just go out and get transfer quarterbacks every couple of years, and we've seen that be very successful. In fact, Oklahoma has been doing that for over a decade. Can you name the last Oklahoma quarterback that was like Sellers, signed out of high school, developed and stayed, starting in the process, stayed their entire career?
See, I know enough Oklahoma quarterbacks, but I don't know the guys in between, like who's the quarterback from maybe no, I don't think it's him. I'm just going to go with Sam Bradford.
Not Sam Bradford, actually right after Sam Bradford. Do you have a guess?
See, who's the guy in between, I remember Trevor Knight from, the Sugar Bowl against Alabama, but I don't even think he was at Oklahoma his entire career. Who's the guy I feel like you're going to say that's such an obvious name, and I'm totally forgetting. Who's the guy that would have been there from, 2010 through, 12 maybe. Like, who's that guy?
That'd be Landry Jones.
Yeah, I would not have remembered that.
So
I remember him from his time with the Steelers, but yeah, I would not have remembered that off the top of my head.
So funny enough, Landry Jones actually did start, it looks like all 4 seasons after Bradford left for the NFL, 2009 through 2012. But yeah, that was the last time. Because again, once you got into the Baker Mayfields, the Jalen Hurts, the Kyler Murrays, like they just kind of became a school that just keeps taking transfer quarterbacks. And again, now they're seeing the same thing with John Mateer, who helped lead them to the college football playoff a year ago, and that's across multiple coaches too. Like Lincoln Riley started this, or really, I guess Bob Stoops started this a decade ago with Baker Mayfield. And since then, Lincoln Riley took it over, and now Brent Venables doing the same thing. Like that's just the reputation of what Oklahoma does. And again, they've made a ton of playoffs. They've had a lot of success with it. So again, it's not a detriment to them that they haven't had that homegrown developed quarterback, but it is interesting that it's been that long for them since they've had one.
Is it fair to say though that I feel like it's kind of rare for that to happen though, like where it is the perfect storm of you recruit this guy out of high school, he becomes your guy almost immediately, and then he stays all 3 to 4 years. I just feel like that does not happen too often because there's different circumstances where that guy overachieves and he goes to a bigger, better school and has, it goes on to transfer and has a great career. Or it could be the case of, this guy didn't pan out, so he transfers elsewhere. Like it feels like most times you just don't see all the factors go perfectly according to plan. There's something that just goes in a different direction, and it leads to that guy leaving for whatever reason.
Well, and that's what makes it interesting when you look at the latest 2 additions on this list. And again, this isn't counting guys that are currently at school, because again, Sellers, if assuming he goes to the NFL after this year, will be a guy that was signed out of high school, developed, started multiple seasons, and spent his entire time at South Carolina. So they will jump to the top of this list where Alabama and LSU currently sit, because Ty Simpson and Garrett Nussmeier signed out of high school, developed, started in Nussmeier's case multiple seasons, and Ty Simpson's 1 season at Alabama, and now we're going to go on to the NFL, and we'll see if they get picked up there. But those guys are such rare exceptions today. And I remember, going back to a couple years ago when Garrett Nussmeier decided to stick around to take over after Jaden Daniels was done, and we saw in the 2022 season when Garrett Nussmeier had to come in and play at times for the injured Jaden Daniels, he looked really good. And I imagine he had tons of offers to go elsewhere and play as a starting quarterback. He decided to stick it out at LSU and got his opportunity the past 2 seasons. And Ty Simpson especially, he waited all the way until the very end. He only got 1 season out of it, right? But he was a guy, and maybe it's because his dad was a head coach and all that kind of stuff, that saw through the process, waited his turn like the Alabama quarterbacks of years past, knowing, hey, if I do well enough in this 1 season, I might get my shot at the NFL, which he's going to. But again, we talk about these guys' stories because it just does not happen that often anymore.
You just don't see that. Like I remember back in the day with Alabama, it was like Blake Sims waited like years for his opportunity.
For his 1 season.
His 1 season. And then he obviously didn't, pan out and, go on to have this great professional career. But, yeah, that certainly helped him for sure in having success. Like Jay Coker, like the following year, like 2 years later.
No, he was a transfer.
Yeah, he was a transfer, true. But along the lines of the waiting your turn, he was a backup his first year at Alabama and then became the starter the next year, won a national championship. So we've seen stories like this, and yeah, it's far and rare for a guy to stay at one school for all, honestly, 4 years, maybe even 5 in some cases with redshirting, and then get your opportunity. Like most guys just want to go play at other school or play right away, and that means transferring to another school. So you commend the guys for waiting, but it's like, you don't have to necessarily. I don't think anyone would fault you if you're Ty Simpson, go transfer to another school, go have a great career. But props to him for sticking it out and getting his chance, because I think, what is it, you get rewarded for waiting it out and being patient.
Do you know the school that's gone the longest since having one of these type of quarterbacks? You want to take a guess?
Is it obvious?
I don't know. I really don't know, because it surprised me a little bit.
I really don't know.
It's Auburn.
Trying to think of who Who would it be?
It was pre-Cam Newton.
I was about to say, definitely pre-Cam Newton.
Brandon Cox in 2007. So that was when Tommy Tuberville was still coaching the team. But since then, you've had your Cam Newtons, you've had Nick Marshalls, you've had Peyton Thorne. Like, they've been very portal heavy. And when they've had guys that they've brought in that they thought they could develop into being their quarterback, it doesn't pan out. They transfer elsewhere. So, yeah, they've gone almost 20 years without having one of those type of guys in their system.
Yeah, talk about a school like that just has not found any success really with consistent quarterback play. I mean, that is why they continue to go into the portal and find guys and in hopes that they are the guys. And maybe Deuce Knight was going to be that guy, but now he's at Ole Miss. So I mean, it's the never ending cycle.
And Byron Brown comes over with Alex Golesh from USF, so the cycle continues.
Yes. So again, South Carolina is in, I would say, pretty rarefied air. Like when it's all said and done, Lenorse is going to be here for his entire South Carolina career and all 4 years, and he still has another year of eligibility left if he came back for another year. Obviously, the hope is that he won't have to, but it just speaks to, like, yeah, this whole discussion has been good because it's like this does not happen anymore.
Yeah, definitely rare. And again, Illinois Sellers would be the latest example of that once he finishes out this upcoming season. We'll take a look at some of the other headlines around college football coming up next, including Sharon Moore going to jail. We'll tell you about that next. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Feltry along with you here on your Wednesday on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Since that win at Clemson by the Gamecocks, things haven't gone well. And when things don't go well, it's time to look back on the days when things were well. Yeah, let's spin back to the good old days on the Game Network.
The Gamecocks are making history in Cleveland. They'll be the 10th team, the 5th program to go undefeated and win the national championship. They will avenge their loss to Iowa from last year. The clock ticks down. 2 seconds to play. Celebration in Cleveland. Perfection wears garnet and black. Game over.
Gamecocks are in the Final Four. Now that's some good feels right there. From 107.5 The Game and the Game Network.
Attention music fans, the 3rd annual Meeting Street Music Fest is happening April 17th and 18th in West Columbia. This award-winning 2-day festival features 11 incredible bands, including national headliner Sugar Ray, plus amazing food, drinks, and fun, and it's completely free. Join us Friday from 6 to 8 at the West Columbia Amphitheater and Saturday from 3 to 9 along Meeting Street. Make it a weekend getaway and experience one of the Southeast's fastest-growing music festivals. Learn more at meetingstreetmusicfest.com. That's meetingstreetmusicfest.com.
Hey, this is Ray and Nathan with Pope Davis Tire and Automotive.
Last year's Technician Bikini Car Wash was a huge success.
But, unfortunately, Grease Lightning and Piston Pete left us for jobs at the club.
Don't worry. If you are feeling hot, we can still cool you down.
By fixing your car's AC for 30% less than the dealership charges.
And we have an $80 rebate on any set of Michelin or BF Goodrich tires until May 23rd.
Cool down online at PopeDavisTire.com.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor and call a Groundworks company. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation. Schedule a free inspection with Mount Valley Foundation Services, a Groundworks company.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Some things are meant to be together. Perfect pairs. The combos we all know and love. Like beaches and sand in your toes. A good book and the park. Or sleepy mornings and Mickey D's. It's undeniable. My personal favorite pair to help me start the day? The toasty $2.69 sausage McMuffin with egg paired with a $2 any size iced coffee. With 20 grams of protein in one sandwich and bold coffee to power my day, there's no doubt I'd call it the perfect McDonald's match. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Start your spring cleaning with Zerorez. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for $109 plus a free hallway. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, just a deeper clean that lasts. Plus, now you can also take $100 off air duct cleaning and breathe cleaner air. Visit ZerorezColumbia.com.
BOGO is back at iMart Express.
Come on!
Okay.
Right now, for a limited time only, new customers can buy their first pair of glasses and get a second pair free. Plus, with eye exams available and same-day glasses, you'll never miss a moment. It's the kind of savings and service you can really get used to.
Okay.
Find a location near you at imartexpress.com to shop our BOGO event today and see everything we have in store for you. iMart Express. Get glasses. Go see.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
Rhino Shield is backed by an extraordinary 25-year warranty with special financing available.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call at 833-RHINO-99. Call now and receive 15% off the regular price. Or go to RhinoShieldCarolina.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
Call now, 833-RHINO-99 for your 15% off. Or go to RhinoShieldCarolina.com.
Full Send Golf.
You guys know how much I really, really love golf, and I think every week would be dope to post on the Golf Channel. I want to get a lot of guests on here.
Salim's going to take lead. I'm down to be in it. It's not really work to play golf.
Join the party on the golf course.
I was like, let's go to the range.
So what are we putting on it? We said 10K, right? 10K? All right. We probably bet more than all the other golf channels, right? 10K, 9 holes. Those guys bet for like cookies.
I feel like I'm going to shank it.
This guy's been trading like a Navy SEAL when it comes to golf.
I'm very, very excited. You excited?
Yeah.
Full Send Golf. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
What team sprung a leak this weekend? Sponsored by American Leak Detection on the Extra Point.
Welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Feltry with you here on your Wednesday on the Game. Going to hit some headlines around college football, including our Who Sprung a Leak, brought to you by our friends over at American Leak Detection. Jack, I think the bank accounts of the College Football Playoff Committee were sprung a leak the other day because they released their updated logo for the CFP that looks almost exactly like the last logo, save for a change in the shade of gold and what they're calling rounded bracket corners. There's some company that got paid millions of dollars to do this, and it looks almost the exact same. So there's your sprung a leak.
When I saw this yesterday, I'm like, what's the difference other than the logo saying CFP, which is what everyone calls it. That's fair. I kind of like the way the original way it looked with the college football playoff written out. But yeah, I don't have much to say on it because it's literally such a minimal change. If anything, I think the logo is probably a bit more minimalistic, which is it surprising? No, because that's the way, for whatever reason, society has gone to this. Everything needs to be minimalistic approach, and I think the CFP is kind of going with that, even though it's not really that much of a change to begin with.
It's one of those things that if they never said it changed, you would have never noticed.
No.
Right? Like, and again, I can't imagine the consulting firm, they got paid gobs of money to just change very few things. They're probably laughing hysterically about this, feeling that they probably robbed the CFP blind. But yes, they have changed the gold color slightly, and they have rounded bracketed corners on the football that goes around the four little laces. And again, the logo just says CFP instead of college football playoff.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Yeah, waste of money there.
Yeah, I that blows my mind. But companies do this, man. You see, there's so many companies out there that will change their logo slightly and be like, oh, it took us 5 years to do that. Why?
Yeah.
And why did you feel like this was the change that was needed? I don't know, but there's your Who Sprung a Leak, brought to you by our friends at American Leak Detection. Around college football yesterday was the hearing for Sharon Moore, where he was facing 3 criminal charges, which included a felony, third-degree home invasion. He was also facing charges of stalking and breaking and entering, and those charges had been downgraded earlier on, and he ultimately pleaded no contest to 2 charges and to 2 charges of malicious use of a telecommunication device and in a domestic relationship and trespassing. And yesterday he was ultimately placed on probation for 18 months and ordered to pay around $1,000 in fines, but will not be going to jail.
Not really a huge surprise that he's not going to jail because he's a first-time offender in this way. And look, it's not right what he did, obviously, but when you have money, when you have notoriety and all this stuff, plus the fact that you're a first-timer in this sort of thing, then yeah, I think probation makes sense. But honestly, when you kind of think about it, I think probation's a worse punishment than going to jail in a lot of ways, because you got to think about it from this standpoint, Tyler. It's 18 months of probation, no alcohol, none of that stuff, and you have to go home every day to your wife, who is give her all the credit in the world, has stuck by him through this whole entire process, and he has to go home every day knowing what he did was so beyond wrong and living with that guilt. Like that's a far worse punishment, in my opinion, than having to go to jail where, it's just you and your isolated self.
Well, you say go home. It's not like he has a job to go to. Yes, he'll continue to seek mental health counseling and all that kind of stuff, but for the most part, you just are at home, right? Like, you got fired from your job at Michigan. You're not going to the office every single day. You're at home with your wife and with your family facing this reality every single day. So, that might be even a worse punishment of having to look your wife in the face every single day, knowing what you did, and she knowing what you did. And the judge at this hearing yesterday commended her for it. He's like, hey, you're a saint. And he's like, quite frankly, I don't know how you're still with this guy, but props to you, basically. Because, again, most people would say Sharon Moore did not deserve that grace.
Yeah, District Court Judge Cedric Simpson, who was the judge during this case, went scorched earth on this guy. I mean, it was just, he was speaking facts. I mean, you read off the quotes, it's like, he said, frankly, Mr. Moore, you had no right to do what you did. I mean, he's totally spot on about this. And, yes, it is, again, I think we both agree it is a bigger punishment from that standpoint of, you're on probation. You don't have a job. Like, you're at home with your wife. You have to face this reality every single day moving forward. But I think it also gives, I think what he did was totally wrong, out of line. There's no justification for it. But he does have an opportunity now here to, look, he's avoiding jail time. He has an opportunity to, I don't know if he's ever going to make things right, but he has an opportunity to better his life and kind of just, again, it's tough because it's like there's no way to right this wrong, but you can be a better person moving forward and not let this one thing define who you are moving forward. So, he's getting a second chance in a lot of ways. Will he ever coach again? I got no idea. I'm sure somebody would hire him in the future, but that's too far to even say if that's even going to happen.
Yeah, we've seen coaches do a lot of bad things and get back in the coaching ranks, so certainly wouldn't surprise me. A last one here yesterday, the NCAA levied penalties against the Iowa football team for their involvement in tampering with the transfer portal. This goes back to 2023, where they had heavily contacted a student at another school who had not been in the portal yet. He then entered the portal, went to Iowa, and played in 5 games in the 2023 season. So because of that, the 4 of those games, Iowa won en route to a 10-win season and playing in the Big Ten championship game. They'll have to forfeit 4 of those wins, which does knock a couple of wins off of Kirk Ferentz's resume, as, again, he's the winningest coach in Big Ten history, but he's still alone at that pedestal as of right now. And we talk about this all the time, Jack. I don't know what vacating wins really does. We saw it happen. We know it happened. Yes, I get it. This guy maybe shouldn't have been there because of the tampering, but it's a slap on the wrist. I don't really know what lesson you're supposed to learn as an institution or the other institutions around the country. Like, oh no, they got Iowa, took some wins away. We better be careful. Like, this does nothing effectively.
No, so the wins taken away here are against Utah State, Iowa State, Western Michigan, and Michigan State. Only 2 of those games really matter to some degree. I just don't really see. It's such an old school way of doing things. I just don't think it really matters in the grand scheme of things. And I mean, I just don't know what this does. I think it is right that it's a slap on the wrist in a lot of ways, and I don't know what a harsher penalty really could be. Like, take away some scholarships, take away some money. I don't know exactly, but yeah, I mean, forfeiting wins is not really it's not really at the top of mind as like, yeah, that's a real harsh punishment.
Yeah, well, it's funny they're doing this, and I don't know, maybe it'll take another 5 years before, if they ever get to doing anything about what Ole Miss did, with the situation with Clemson back in January.
Yeah, that's a whole other discussion.
Because that's something that could send a message if they actually enforce things on it.
Something should happen there. But
yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see. We will absolutely see. It is Wednesday. Coming up next, we'll talk some racing with Jen Jensen to wrap up hour number 2 of the Extra Point. And then we'll get in the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs coming up at 11. It is Wednesday. Tyler Head, Jack Veltri, along with you here on The Game.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
This hour of in-show listening on 107.5 The Game is sponsored by QC Kinetics in West Columbia, the non-surgical regenerative orthopedic specialists of the Midlands. Request your consultation today by dialing pound 250 and use keyword QC Kinetics.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
LaMelo Ball absolutely should have been ejected from Charlotte's play-in win last night over Miami. Now, LaMelo scored 30 points in the game, had the game-winning layup, but in the second quarter, he takes Bam's legs out from under him. Bam falls to the ground. He can't return. He's Miami's best player. The game goes into overtime. Miami absolutely would have won the game with a healthy Bam Adebayo. LaMelo Ball should have been ejected for tripping Bam. I'm Nick Costos.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
This is the story of the One. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
This is the story of the One. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Oh, yeah. The Extra Point with Tyler Head.
And the kick is good.
Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network.
Second is the Extra Points. Tyler Head along with you, wrapping up the second hour here on your Wednesday on the Game, and time to talk some racing with Jen Jensen. From the early game, the NASCAR Cup Series back in action this past weekend at Bristol Motor Speedway. It's been a long time coming. We finally saw Ty Gibbs pick up his first career victory. Photo finish holding off Ryan Blaney on a late restart. Kyle Larson also right there behind him. Whale of a drive by the kid who finally finds himself in Cup Series victory lane for the first time ever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think you can have much of a heart if you didn't get excited about that. And, lost his dad a couple of years ago, obviously racing lineage, and to see how excited his mom was. So, yeah, he's a hardworking guy. And from what his grandpa said, he's really well liked. And I think it was good for everybody in the sport.
And I say, he's come so close so many times. Sunday was his 131st career NASCAR Cup Series start, and particularly at Bristol, too. He's come very close on a couple of occasions. But it's always this thing, typically. You look at guys like Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, William Byron. It usually took them around 100 starts in the Cup Series to start winning races. And it seems like once you win one, the floodgates kind of open up. And again, Gibbs has been in contention so many times. I do wonder now that he's finally gotten that monkey off his back, if we might see him go out and win multiple races this year.
Yeah, I think there's just that extra added pressure where you're so close and you want to win. That's kind of like winning a green jacket at the Masters. It's like you get that first win. It seems like maybe it's just a smidge easier to get the second. Yeah, no doubt about it. And again, whale of a drive. He didn't have the best car. I think Blaney, by all accounts, had the best car on Sunday, even had the best tires there late. They had 4 tires. Larson even had 2 tires. And that's what made what Gibbs did even more impressive, because not only did he beat him on one restart, he beat him on the second one over a green-white checkered. Now, if the race had gone about 5 more laps, Blaney probably ends up passing him. But when you have the 2 grooves, Gibbs took the high side, and it takes several laps for somebody to pass you on the inside. And Gibbs knew that. And I thought he executed those last couple laps perfectly. Again, it was photo finish, but you knew even coming out of the turn, he was going to have the momentum on the top side. And that's all that he needed to get back to the line first. Yeah, no, he did exactly what he was supposed to do, hit his marks. And you're right. I think Blaney would have probably gotten him. So the timing of the restart and how many laps were left, it just all played into his favor. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Again, Bristol's another one of those tracks that's getting the higher horsepower this year, less downforce, tweaked to the short track package. And I thought overall it was a pretty solid race. Now, it wasn't the tire degradation race like we've been treated to the past couple years. And I can understand Goodyear not wanting it to be that extreme. Could they have worn a little bit more? Yeah, probably. I still think there's some work to be done. But I think for what it was, compared to the other races at Bristol, the next gen car where there wasn't tire wear, I think this one was definitely better. Yeah, no, I think the racing was good. Again, you could pass. You had multiple, I think 12 lead changes, so you were able to do some kind of passing. Reddick showed that one. He got caught up in a speeding penalty, I believe, and ended up, making his way back to the front. So you could make some movement on the track. Yeah, Ryan Blaney's pit crew continues to lose him position after position. They brought it up on Sunday. I think he's already lost about 30 spots this year on pit road. And again, he's got speed every single week to be running up front. But especially with the restructuring of the chase format, if you want to win championships, you cannot afford to give up positions left and right like that 12 team does. I don't know what they have to, and Ryan's a pretty calm guy. I don't know if he needs to tear into these guys, but something's got to change, because you're not going to win championships performing like that. No, and, after the race, he's usually doesn't really dog on his team too much. The pit crew, he's like, thanks, guys. Thanks for giving me a fast car. He doesn't usually just lay into them, but at some point, something's going to have to change, because that just can't be acceptable to him nor Penske. Yeah, I can honestly understand the frustration, but again, he kept it cool. It'll be interesting to see if it's a crew swap, or maybe you bring somebody up for him. Well, they don't have an O'Reilly Series team anymore, so I'm sure if Mr. Penske really wanted to and he wanted to grab the Wood Brothers pit crew, he probably could. You know what I mean? Yeah, money talks. Something that's been so bad this entire season, I can't see how you can sit back and let it continue. No, I mean, and you've got the first pit stall and you still lost spots in the pits. Like, that just shouldn't happen. Yeah, absolutely. So again, that's something we'll see if Team Penske can get cleared up. I did want to hit on this really quick as we're, now getting towards the fourth of the way point in the season. RCR still doesn't have a top 10. They are, along with Rick Ware Racing, who only has one car with Cody Ware, and Haas Factory Team with Cole Custer, the only
3 organizations that run full-time that have not had a top 10 yet this year. Kyle Busch is out there wrecking Riley Herbst at the very end of the race that forced the overtime. It just seems like things are falling apart for RCR. They've been bad before, but this seems especially bad.
Yeah, this is especially bad. And to listen to the banner on the radio, you could tell Kyle was so frustrated, but even the crew chief seemed more frustrated, like he just didn't even like what Kyle was telling him that he needs. So we'll keep saying the same thing. Well, are you guys delivering what you need to be delivering for him?
Well, and I think when Kyle went to RCR after leaving Joe Gibbs Racing, because again, it was an organization that struggled for several years, this was like, okay, they finally have another veteran like a Dale Earnhardt, like a Kevin Harvick that can really kind of get this ship righted and get them back to winning. And albeit he did win some races pretty quickly, but his last win was almost 3 years ago, and they've not had, outside of Austin Dillon winning a couple times at Richmond, once in controversial fashion, they haven't had much to show for it. And I don't know. I don't even know if Kyle Busch can be there next year. And if he's not, where do you go? Jesse Love? Do you go Austin Hill? Like, I don't see the turnaround for this organization anytime soon.
No, I don't either. And that's what I would have expected with a veteran to be able to maybe do that. But I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but it's going to be something to keep an eye on, because he was really a little bit competitive at the beginning of the year. And then that's just me. It's just fallen off completely.
Yeah. Well, in a track like this weekend at Kansas is where you really get your butt handed to you, because everything matters there. Downforce, horsepower, and they just seem to be lacking in all those regards right now.
Yep. So that's going to be a really telling, and I wonder after that race, depending on how they do, we may see some changes. I don't know.
Yeah. And again, what changes you can make in season that's really going to make that big of a difference, I don't know. I think at some point you have what you have, and you got to bite the bullet and ride it out. And it could be a very long final, 28 races left to go in the season. That's miserable.
Yeah. And again, for him to actually be the calm one in the car and saying, hey, we can't be yelling at each other and all that. So, I don't know if he's just to the point where he's just kind of getting more zen about it or what. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. And again, he's one of the best this sport's ever seen, but it's been a while since he's been consistently competitive, and I don't see that changing anytime soon, unfortunately.
I know. I don't. Again, sweeping changes I think need to be made, but you're right. And during season, how much can you do?
Well, Kane's coming up this weekend, should be fun. It's honestly been one of the best tracks for the next gen car. Great finishes, just great racing in general, and I don't have any other expectations than what should be a pretty fun race on Sunday.
No, well, Kansas is one of my favorite tracks, so I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. We'll talk about it next week. Appreciate it as always, Jen.
Thanks much.
That'll do it for the Extra Point. Coming up next, Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs. We'll get back into what Coach Beamer had to say yesterday in regards to spring practice. What are the biggest questions Wes and Chris have coming out of the spring? We'll hit all that coming up next here on your Wednesday on the Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
It's deck days at Lowe's, and the savings are stacked. Right now, pros get 15% off all in-stock composite decking from top brands like Trex, TimberTech, and Decorators. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt max 5-amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt tool. The deck's stacked in your favor with brands pros trust. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 4/22 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I took the gas hose out of my car's tank. Ooh, not smart. And I drove off while still attached to pump number 3.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Start your spring cleaning with Zerorez. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for $109 plus a free hallway. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, just a deeper clean that lasts. Plus, now you can also take $100 off air duct cleaning and breathe cleaner air. Visit ZerorezColumbia.com.
Make Make your dream pool a reality this summer with Aquarian Pools of Columbia. Specializing in residential and commercial pool construction, Aquarian Pools of Columbia offer complimentary design services that bring your vision to life. Whether you need a new backyard oasis or your old pool needs a renovation, their expert builders are ready to deliver just in time for summer. With 54 years in business, if you can dream it, they can build it. Visit them online at aquarianpools.com or call 803-732-3636 today.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Hendrick.
Why shop for a Chevy or GMC the way you always have? Shop the nation's #1 dealer group, Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Buy now, but make no payments for 3 months. Experience the Hendrick difference. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
Hi, my husband and I own a small business in Columbia, and we ended up needing some help with some tax problems that we had and needed to get resolved. We initially owed about $300,000, and John Ecton and his law firm ended up getting us an offer in compromise, which dramatically reduced the amount owed. I would personally recommend the Ecton law firm. They did an excellent job for us, and if this is a concern that you're facing, they're definitely the people you should call.
It's great to know we have changed people's lives for the better. Hi, this is local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. For over a decade, our office has been dedicated to helping hardworking individuals and businesses solve tax problems for good. So if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call our office today at 771-9800 or go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Let's get your tax problem solved for good. Call today. You'll be glad you did.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. Throws it! He throws it down! The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Tyler Head and Chris Clark and Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central. Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network.
All right, 11 o'clock on your Wednesday morning. Welcome in. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs. Tyler Head, Wes Mitchell, and Chris Clark along with you here. A lot of things to get into from Carolina spring football. I do have to ask one question, though, guys. Do either of you consider yourself a Charlotte Hornets fan by any chance?
Right now, admittedly, no.
No?
Back in the day, I did think about, man, this would be a great time to be one of those people that just starts tweeting about the Hornets and pretending
you've been there the whole time.
Just pretending that you've been through just all this bad basketball. And man, I've been waiting for this moment for a decade. But no, I went to games back in the day when I was a kid. But I mean, dude, we're talking Muggsy Bogues days. We're talking Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson, way back when. Then I did a little bit of the Baron Davis era. Trying to think of some of the other guys, Jamal Mashburn, like that crew. But nah, man, I can't say I've watched it, but it does, dude. It looks fun. The atmosphere looks great.
Yeah, you had the Alonzo Mourning era, Muggsy Bogues. You know, they had some dudes back in the day. I found out about this. I hate to say it. My NBA watching has fallen off tremendously over the last few years. I used to catch some games on TV. I've been to, I did a bucket list item several years ago because when we were in New York, we went to the Garden, saw a Knicks Celtics playoff game when the Celtics had the big three. Celtics won by like 30. It wasn't much of a game, but it was awesome to go. I've kind of kept up with the Hornets a little bit, but even my like NBA playoff, which is normally when I kind of dial in and check in, I always like watching the playoffs. It's fallen off over the years. So I found out about the latest Hornets happening via my brother texting me this morning and saying, "Hey, did you see?" I'm like, "No, I haven't seen yet." So it's on my list today to go back, and apparently crazy game. Need to go watch.
Yeah, wild game. And look, the NBA regular season doesn't mean much these days, but when you get in postseason play, especially with these, play-ins that they have like last night, it creates a good environment, and that looked like as good of an environment as an NBA game as maybe I've ever seen. Wild game goes to overtime. Some controversy with LaMelo Ball dumping Bam Adebayo on his back in the second quarter and leaving him out the rest of the game. So it had a little bit of everything, but if you want to jump on the bandwagon, I guess there's still time, and they'll play again on Friday.
Here's another one that shows how out of touch I am. Do they still have the commentator that's absolutely incredible?
So people were actually bringing that up last night that they would have rather had him on the call of the game because it was a prime broadcast. So you didn't have the local.
But just generally, he's still on there, right?
Yeah, you didn't have the local call of the game, but I imagine he would have been losing his mind if that was the case. And you know what? It probably, Chris, it probably slid under your radar because it was on Prime. Like I didn't realize until the other day that they were doing the playoffs on Prime now. Like this is a new thing.
Yeah, you got to have like 72 streaming services to watch all the different things now. Even sports, it didn't used to be like that, but now are you subscribed to this and that and this to be able to watch everything?
Yeah, well, it was supposed to be cheaper than cable, but here we are with 10 different streaming services that probably add up to more than what we were paying for cable in the first place.
Hey, but at least get free 2-day shipping with Prime.
That's right, you do. There's both sides of the coin there. So yeah, Hornets end up winning last night in a wild game against the Heat, and they're back in action coming up on Friday. We'll get into some spring football. Yesterday, Coach Beamer speaking to the media for his wrap-up of spring, and he started off with kind of summarizing everything he's seen over the past couple of weeks.
And then wrapping up the spring and recapping that, like where we are, got a lot of work to do, but feel like we made a lot of progress from the start of spring practice in March to now. And I like this team, the work ethic, the maturity, the intentionality about everything that they're doing. Even last Saturday, I think a lot of the teams in the country, if it was practice 15 on a Saturday morning, you got the Darius Rucker concert later on in the night, you're not having a spring game, would have not had the practice that we had. But we had a really spirited, energetic practice last Saturday, and those guys had fun out there competing, working, and making each other better. That was the theme of this spring, just the way they went out there and worked each and every day. So excited. We've got a lot of work to do. Like I said, summer is going to be huge for all of these guys. The months of June and July, or really May when they come back for summer school, but the end of May, all of June, all of July will be really big for our guys. We got to get healthy, but we're on the right track, have made a lot of progress, and looking forward to seeing the steps we take here going forward.
So I know that at the media availabilities on Wednesdays, you guys don't get to see a ton, but you do get to lay eyes on the team and watch them go through drills and those kind of things. And you, of course, have your inside sources on what's going on in the scrimmages and things like that. As we head into this quieter period for the football team, as we head into late spring and into summer, what is the biggest question each of you have still about this team coming out of spring?
Man, I think you still got to go back to the O-line. For me, it's wait and see on that. Like, I'm sure they've made progress, and I actually like what they've done in terms of changing up the scheme to where it's probably going to be a little bit easier for these guys. And, obviously you bring in, I think, a really, really good duo, with Coach Clem and Jason Smith. But the fact that you are rebuilding the entire line, and at this point, you would project basically 4 of the 5 starters are probably newcomers or probably transfers. I would put Shed Surratt in there more than likely as the lone starter that is a returning guy. It's just so much new there, so much unknown still. Obviously, Jacarius Peak, we didn't even get to see him this spring, so that's still something where what percentage is he at in terms of preseason ball? What percentage is he at week 1? And then, is that 100% health? But what does that mean for, like, football shape? What does that mean for, like, his overall strength and all those things? What does that buildup look like? So, to me, it's still got to be the offensive line. Even if we would have been hearing, like, hey, this has been the best spring for an offensive line, in history, I think you would still have to have that as your answer. There's some other spots, there's some other questions, but, I think you feel good about a lot of the other positions on this team. I think there have been some really positive developments, but the O-line is the one that we truly will not know until we see them. And we probably won't know in week 1, week 2, week 3 either. We're not going to really know until you see these guys against, those SEC defensive lines.
Yeah, that would be my pick too, man. And I do think you can go to some other ones, right? Because as many good things as you hear about Matt Fuller and the depth that they built up and the competition in the running back room, you still and this does work hand in hand with the offensive line, of course, when you think about the run game, you still got to say, okay, let's see it. Lenore Sellers, we know what he's capable of, the talent level. We think that he's a really good fit in this Kendall Briles offense, that this offense is going to be good for him and vice versa. But, you kind of have to see it, right? There are a lot of different positions and little mini storylines I think you could go with. You could go with kicker, which is the one that Shane Beamer, I kind of thought singled out yesterday as not that they feel like they have no answer, but just they don't know what the answer is, who the answer is just yet, which isn't a huge surprise. Nobody's really seemed to separate it between Kelly and Upton Bellafant, the transfer there. But I do think you have to go with the offensive line, right? That has been, if you could pick one area of this program that you would like to have maybe a do-over on, if you could pick one area where, hey, if this group would have played better collectively over the past few years, what would this thing look like? I do think you'd pick the offensive line. And so I'm with you, Wes. Like, I think the long-term setup of what they have, you feel pretty good about, right? Because Randy Clements is a proven guy. He's worked closely with Kendall Briles. You're rebuilding that thing and feel like there's some good things happening. But that's nice, but it's also got to be a short-term play because you've got to get better this year. You're going to have to play better in the run game. You're certainly have to play better in pass protection this year. And that's something you're working towards right here, right now. So you got a lot of guys playing in this system for the first time, being in this program for the first time. That always leads to some uncertainty, right? And so it's a question of, can this group be improved? I think they will be improved to some degree, just kind of as a baseline. The question is how much. And I'm with you, man. Even if you hear some good things, I think you do have to kind of take a wait and see approach. A lot of fans are taking that, and I think it's very fair, to think that exact way.
Well, and again, we have this question seemingly every single year when we come to the spring of, okay, can the offensive line make its improvements? And you hear good things from Beamer, the assistant coaches, the players. They're all saying the right things, but you're right. I think this fan base to this point, if we've seen this movie too many times before, go out there and prove it to me, not just in the first 2 games against Kent State and Towson, where, yeah, you should be able to hold your own against those teams without any problem, but when you play Mississippi State, Alabama, Kentucky, those first couple of SEC games, that'll really tell us where this offensive line is at, and that ultimately sets the tone for the entire season at that point in time because, again, we know Sellers has the ability to make things happen even when the play breaks down, but you certainly hope he's not going to be running for his life like he's had to do these past 2 years. I said this at the end of last season. Carolina's consistently given up the most sacks in the SEC, or close to the most sacks in the SEC, each of the 2 years that Lenore Sellers has been the starter. If you can cut that number in half, then just be in the middle of the pack in the SEC in that regard. That's still a huge step up in addition to what you're doing when it comes to run blocking and all those other kind of things. So we're not asking this unit to be the best in the entire country. Just be a few steps forward from where you've been these past couple of years, and you should hopefully be in good shape.
Well, and I'm wondering how much of a boost do you get from the fact that you are running a little bit different scheme. And I think just the fact that, I think there was a lot of reasons why things did not go well in the O-line this past year, but to me, you're asking them to do things that, were just difficult for them. So do you get, like, is there a built-in boost that comes along with the scheme and just getting, I think a big reason you even introduce a faster tempo is because you're not going to be able to, as a defense, be quite as multiple with what you're trying to do. So I know this team isn't going to be all tempo all the time. However, I think one thing we saw South Carolina just really struggle with was picking up stunts, picking up different looks from the defensive front, and how many times do we see free runners to your quarterback? And that doesn't mean you're going to be able to go tempo all the time and keep teams out of those stunts. You would hope that part of this is that you just, as a baseline, pick up those stunts better. You know what I'm saying? But maybe you get a few less of those too, just by the fact that you are going to have a scheme that's just a little bit more, I would say, predicated towards keeping things simple and towards college ball. And, the fact that if you're facing just standard base defenses, you're going to have a little bit of an advantage that just did not exist last year when South Carolina basically, was get to the line pretty slowly, survey the defense, very, very just old school NFL oriented.
Again, the offensive line, another headline coming away from spring. We'll get into other things that Coach Beamer talked about yesterday, including some more praise for Noah Clark as we head into his first season at South Carolina. That's coming up next. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs here on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
The Game phone lines at 803-404-6100. Sponsored by AAA Heating and Air. Now offering 12-month payment plans on all HVAC or electrical repairs with no credit check. Online at callAAAtoday.com. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
I'm Michael Jeffcoat. When good people get hurt in a bad wreck, a lot of insurance companies won't offer to pay full value to them. You deserve better than that. Call Jeffcoat. All hours, every day. 803-200-2000.
Responsible attorney Michael Jeffcoat, 1333 Main Street, Columbia.
Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game for AAA Heating and Air. Look, I know you're thinking about a lot of spring cleaning right now, but are you thinking about your generators? You need to be. Those things are vitally important when our power goes out. You want to make sure your generator is running great. At AAA Heating and Air, they're ready to help you. So call today or visit their website. Call AAAtoday.com and tell them Bill Gunner with 107.5 The Game sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
I'm Michael Jeffcoat. When good people get hurt in a bad wreck, a lot of insurance companies won't offer to pay full value to them. You deserve better than that. Call Jeffcoat. All hours, every day. 803-200-2000.
Responsible attorney Michael Jeffcoat, 1333 Main Street, Columbia.
The Colonial Life Charity Classic is coming to the Wood Creek Club right here in Columbia, May 14th through the 17th. This is your chance to watch the next generation of PGA Tour stars up close. Before Justin Thomas and Scotty Scheffler were household names, they were right here on the Korn Ferry Tour. This is where the journey begins. Every shot bringing them closer to the PGA Tour. Tomorrow's champions are teeing it up today. Get your tickets now for the Colonial Life Charity Classic.
Hey guys, Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central here to make sure your business and property parking lots are kept available from any unwanted cars taking up your spots with Schroeder's Towing. For instance, you're coming in hot to the Game Studios for your show and you park next door in an unauthorized lot with signage that was provided for free from Schroeder's Towing. Next thing you know, the show is in the books and your car is out of the lot. It really is that simple. That's a true story. Call Schroeder's today and keep those unwanted cars out of your lots. Online at schroederstowing.net.
Just dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Make your dream pool a reality this summer with Aquarian Pools of Columbia. Specializing in residential and commercial pool construction, Aquarian Pools of Columbia offer complimentary design services that bring your vision to life. Whether you need a new backyard oasis or your old pool needs a renovation, their expert builders are ready to deliver just in time for summer. With 54 years in business, if you can dream it, they can build it. Visit them online at aquarianpools.com or call 803-732-3636 today.
Looking for a
a truck dealership that treats you like family? Come to Herndon Chevrolet, your truck headquarters, proudly serving Lexington and the Midlands for over 50 years. Whether you're after a brand new Silverado, a tough pre-owned truck, or expert service, you'll find it all right here with a huge selection and the best truck deals around. There's no better place to shop. Visit HerndonChevy.com or stop by today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Visit CordellCordell.com.
1201 Main Street, Columbia.
Springtime is a great time for a new car, and State Credit Union is a great place to finance that new car. With rates as low as 4.25% APR and up to 90 days with no payment, you can drive what you love and keep some money in your pocket. Visit State Credit Union's website for details and to find a location near you. SCSCU.com. Visit one of State Credit Union's 8 Midlands branches today. Terms and conditions apply. Equal housing lender. Federally insured by the NCUA.
The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Tyler Head, along with Chris Clark and Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central. Sponsored by Firehouse Subs. Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
Welcome back in. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs. Tyler, West, and Chris with you on your Wednesday here on the Game, going over what Coach Beamer had to talk about yesterday in his spring wrap-up press conference. And one name that we talked about really over the course of the past couple days in reference to him winning one of the Newcomer of the Year awards was Noah Clark. And that's somebody that Coach Beamer was asked about specifically yesterday. And here's what Beamer had to say about the freshman defensive tackle.
Yeah, I may have mentioned it last week, but he's a really good bowler. He was my teammate on our championship bowling team a couple of weeks ago, so he's really good at bowling. So we're proud of that championship. The trophy's in my office if anybody wants to see it. He's just we knew Noah was a great young man, awesome family, big kid, big young man, size-wise. Probably underestimated just his overall athleticism. You know, he's a big guy that can move. He's not a big defensive tackle that just takes up space that you got to take off the field on third down. He's got the athleticism to just command double teams, but then be able to rush the passer in passing situations too. So for him to be able to come in and do that as a true freshman that should still be in high school right now is really impressive. But just he's a mature guy that, handling his business off the field, handling his business on the field, and excited for him to continue to develop as we go through the summer and add to that room that we have at the defensive tackle position. There's some really talented guys in there and like what he brings to the equation.
And as we touched on a little bit yesterday, this is a very deep defensive tackle room that you've been fortunate to have in the past couple years. A lot of experience in this room, much like you had a couple years ago in 2024, albeit these guys mainly from the transfer portal. So getting into that rotation is going to be hard, but I hear Beamer say that, hey, maybe we underestimated his athleticism a little bit. When you look at a guy that's 6'4", 6'5", and 350 pounds, you may think he is a little bit of somebody you just kind of stick in the middle to take up space, but it is good to hear that he's able to do a lot more than that. You guys have obviously seen him up close and personal more than most of us have, and it's promising things you hear like that make you wonder just how much he might be able to find the field this fall if things keep continuing to go well.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at quarterback, you look at defensive tackle, those are maybe the two hardest positions to play as a true freshman. Add in the fact that it is a room that is, you have a lot of guys that started out ahead of him that you would say you feel pretty good about. Some of them you feel really good about. So I think it's one of those things, in a perfect world, you're not asking your true freshman defensive tackle to come in and play right away. However, in today's college football world, we see red shirts are less and less of a thing, especially when you have someone as talented as it appears Noah Clark is. the other part of red shirts is they may be going away depending on what the legislation actually looks like next. You could be looking at this 5 to play 5 thing. So do you even mess around with a red shirt for a guy like that? The other side is sometimes you have these sort of transcendent athletes that just make an easy transition. And it's hard to even with all the recruiting rankings, it's really hard to, like, I would say, identify these guys early on who can just come in and make it look like they're not playing big-time college football. Like, Nick Emmanwori had a way of just coming in and just, it's like, all right, yeah, I've been doing this my whole life. I'm just going to do it at this level too. Watch me. And obviously very, very different positions, but I get similar vibes on Noah Clark. Like, the people that have, like, really watched him, like, not what we're seeing at practice in that little window, but the people that have really been able to watch him are like, he kind of just makes things look easy. And, you know, most freshman defensive linemen have this moment where they have to, like, eat a double team from a guard and a center, and they just get smashed backwards, and they're like, okay, this is a little bit different than when I was bigger, stronger than everybody. But Noah apparently just is one of those guys with natural strength, some natural athleticism, pretty rare combination of those things. And I think the most exciting part for Gamecock fans, Chris, is that he does still have some of that baby fat on him that just kind of, like, he is not a finished product by any means. So if he's able to do what he's doing right now, then who knows what this kid could be once, he has another, I won't even go forward to next year. Once he has another 3 or 4 months in the strength and conditioning program going into this season, who knows how good he could be.
Yeah, he's got the baby fat, the baby face. He's young for his class, from my understanding. So, he just has now, I think, checked pretty much all the boxes that makes you think he's got a chance to be a really good player, right? That's not us saying this guy is going to be a star based on what we know, but you kind of have checked all the boxes for that path. He's huge. He moves better than I think any of us thought coming out of high school. I think that the start that he got in the strength and conditioning program coming in January, I think has helped him get even faster and even more quick twitch, just transitioning from the high school level to the college level. And then on top of that, he's just really hard worker, great kid, like Beamer said there. We had heard all those things as well. And he's also got, in addition to just those traits, like, he is a good football player. You know, we've heard several anecdotes about him just causing some trouble, on the interior of the line. This is the type of guy that, sometimes other schools have had in the past, just this giant kid who can really move, and you're sitting there going, man, I'd really like to have one of those. Like, that is Noah Clark, And I think we were talking about this on the pod yesterday, Wes. It's interesting. Remember, even after Carolina brought in a transfer class and some freshmen, when Devontae Miles was dismissed from the team, you're sitting there going, okay, like, that's a guy that was probably going to play. What is this room going to look like? I think that script has really flipped based on the returns from spring ball, to where, a lot of folks around the program think that this may be potentially the best unit on the team. And I think that's because they've hit on Noah Clark. How much he plays, we'll see year one, but they certainly feel like they've hit on him. Aiden Harris, they like what they've seen from him. You've got a couple guys who are still young, and Caleb Williams and Christian Ingram coming along. And then you have a lot of guys that have played a lot of football. The transfers you brought in, Pikes is back, Brownlow Dendy's back. He at times looked like the best player on the defense at times when he was out there last year. So does that mean this is going to be, a dominant unit? I don't know that, but I do think it has a chance to really be a strength to this defense. And it seems like they built up some legitimate depth, and Noah may be a part of that more quickly than any of us envisioned.
Well, we typically, when we talk about the defensive line room, again, going back the past couple of years, you kind of look at like 4-ish guys that are typically in your rotation there on a consistent basis. And again, you got Gabriel Brownlow Denley and Troy Pikes that were here a year ago. No question those guys likely going to be a part of that. Tomiwa, very successful in his time at Illinois, shouldn't have any problem occupying one of those spots. And it's almost kind of like, okay, between Jordan Thomas, Kelby Collins, and maybe one of these younger guys, who could maybe be that fourth rotational person in the defense is or the defensive line is the question that we're still waiting to get a firm answer on.
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time seeing it not being Kelby, honestly, at least right now. Like, I think you're going 6 deep at that spot. I really do. And, does that maybe, like, we've seen this staff for the most part, if they have the exact, if all other things are equal is what I'm trying to say, they roll that 4-2-5 out there, and that's the way they run it. Based on kind of how things are right now, is there a push to try and get more of these guys on the field at one time? Like, do we see a little bit more of a 3-man front, but you're maybe getting 3 of these defensive tackle types on the field at once, and then kind of going with a stand-up edge guy rushing off the, off the edge or something like that? We do know that is in the package to an extent. Like, that is within this defense. We've seen them do it in the past. They've gotten away from it, when they've had the true pure pass rushers that they want on the outside. If the depth at that spot isn't quite up to what they want it to be, do you have to experiment maybe with some different things? I don't think we can completely rule that out. Now, obviously, Anthony Addison coming along at edge is a big thing there. Julian Walker coming along, Caleb Herring, all those guys. Big thing, of course, being is Dylan Stewart back 100% healthy to start the year after they've had to shut him down for the spring.
Yeah, we'll certainly see. But again, you feel good about what you have from the depth standpoint in that room as of right now. We'll see how many of those guys do get on the field when the fall does roll around. We're going to continue to talk about the things Beamer had to say yesterday at the presser as the week does roll along, as we kind of put a bow on spring practice and head into a more quieter part of the calendar as we head into late spring and early summer. But coming up next, we'll get into what happened last night with Gamecock baseball, picking up the win against Davidson. That's next here in the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs here on The Game.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
We have a new way for you to call the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Just dial pound 250, and when prompted, punch in the keywords, the game. And that's it. Again, pound 250 with the keywords, the game.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because Rhino Shield is backed by a 25-year warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick. Put down that paintbrush and pick up your phone. Call Rhino Shield at 833-RHINO-99. Call now and receive 15% off the regular price. Or go to RhinoShieldCarolina.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
For your 15% off, call now, 833-RHINO-99. Or go to RhinoShieldCarolina.com.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
I grew up in South Carolina. I went to school here, I met my wife here, and together we opened the Jeffcoat firm right here to help our community get the support they deserve.
We believe that local is better.
And you deserve better.
Responsible attorney is Michael Jeffcoat, 1333 Main Street, Columbia.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Email hijacking and ransomware are on the rise, and they're targeting your business. Once your data is out there, there's no fix, no reset. Do you know where your business is vulnerable right now? Find out with a cybersecurity audit from IntelliSystems. IntelliSystems is one of the few firms worldwide that's GTIA Cybersecurity Trustmark Assured, meaning the highest global standards. They find gaps before criminals do. Schedule your audit now. IntelliSystems.com.
Vista Roofing, your local CertainTeed Select Shingle Master. Looking for a roof that's built to last? Trust the certified experts at Vista Roofing for professional installation, top-tier materials, and peace of mind backed by industry-leading warranties. From repairs to full replacements, Vista Roofing delivers durable results and exceptional service. Call now or visit VistaRoofingINC.com to schedule your free estimate. Vista Roofing, raising the standard one shingle at a time.
Hendrick. Why shop for a Chevy or GMC the way you always have when there's a better way? Shop the nation's #1 dealer group, Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Thousands of car buyers across Columbia have switched to Hendrick for a larger selection, better pricing, and an easier buying experience. Plus, buy now but make no payments for 3 months. You don't have to shop the old way anymore. Experience the Hendrick difference.
With approved credit, see dealer for details.
Gamecock fans, are you ready? This is your shot to meet the future of South Carolina football. QB1, Lenora Sellers, live Saturday, May 2nd, 11 to 12:30, only at Gamecock Traditions. Tickets, just $10. That's right, $10 gets you an autograph and $10 off your gear. But listen up, only 250 tickets. No walk-ups, no outside items. When they're gone, they're gone. This will sell out, so don't get left out. Lock in your spot now and meet Lenora Sellers live.
Hey guys, it's Jay Phillips for the Men's Clinic. You're not feeling like yourself as you get older? You're wondering why? Don't wait for it to change or go away. Instead, see Dr. Dan Balknight and his team at the Men's Clinic. You'll have a one-on-one consultation that gets to the root of the issues and gets you back to feeling like you used to. No such thing as a one-size-fits-all treatment at the Men's Clinic. Call them up for a free consultation, 803-875-MENS, and learn more online at themensclinicsc.com.
I grew up in South Carolina. I went to school here. I met my wife here. And together we opened the Jeffcoat firm right here to help our community get the support they deserve.
We believe that local is better.
And you deserve better.
Responsible attorney is Michael Jeffcoat, 1333 Main Street, Columbia.
The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Tyler Head, along with Chris Clark and Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central. Sponsored by Firehouse Subs. Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
Welcome back in. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs. Tyler, Wes, and Chris with you here on your Wednesday on the Game. Last night, Miami Lee's team in action taking on Davidson, and a bit of a high-scoring affair early on. Carolina holds on to get the 8-6 victory to extend their winning streak to 4 games coming off the sweep over this past weekend at Missouri. And for the first time in almost 2 months, got themselves over the 500 mark, which is something that Miami Lee talked about after the game.
Well, we've won 4 games in a row. You know, I don't worry so much about we're at 500, below 500, above. I'm not as much concerned about that as much as I am that we're playing better baseball and we're finding ways to win close games. You know, we had a stretch there where we were losing those close games, right? And now we've been able to find a way to win the close games. 8-6 tonight, 6-4, 1-0, 5-2, I believe. So, I mean, we've been able to find a way to win those close games and get over that hump. So that just gives the guys confidence that, hey, you know, if we can do this, we can play 9 complete innings of baseball and find ways to win, you know, a tight ball game, and that's a good thing because it's good to have confidence late in a ball game with a lead versus feeling the pressure of trying to hold on. You know, we've got the confidence of like, hey, we get the ball to the right guys out of the bullpen, and we play good defense behind them with a lead, we're going to win this game. And that's, again, teams that win a lot of games, that's what they do. You know, it's what you do with a lead. You ask yourself one question: if you got a good team, you got 9 outs to go with a 1-run lead, you're going to win the game. That's what good teams do. They win the tight ball games with 9 outs to go, and we've been able to do that as of late, and hopefully we can continue to do that.
And guys, we've had to kind of shift our expectations, the way we talk about this team, with how rough this season has been at times. Again, you're sitting at 5-10 in conference play right now, so the possibility of getting yourself to the postseason, not completely gone, but it's certainly farther out there. So I think we have to look at these games kind of within a vacuum of themselves. And for last night, obviously a phenomenal bottom of the first inning where you get the 5 runs there immediately. Davidson gets back in the game by scoring a couple runs themselves. It looked like it's going to be nip and tuck the rest of the way, but your bullpen, save for Josh Gunther having some struggles, comes in, shuts things down, and holds Davidson at bay with just the 6 runs allowed early there. And your offense obviously did a really good job of putting 8 runs on the board. Some more home runs last night, which is good to see from the momentum carrying off the weekend. And, for today at least, you can feel good about doing your job and hopefully carrying some momentum into this weekend's matchup against Mississippi State.
Yeah, let me get the negative out of the way first. Riley Goodman, someone that, I think South Carolina was counting on to play a big role this year. He was a weekend starter to start the year. There was some chatter from some of the national guys about, hey, this guy could have SEC Freshman of the Year type potential. It just has not happened to this point. It just has not worked out. So that's a guy I think you circle, man. If you're going to take any or make any type of run the rest of the way, they really need to find a way to start getting something out of him and just, once again, like last night, it just was not there. You also, I think we've seen Josh Gunther at his best. And, last night was not at either a hit, 2 walks in 2/3 of an inning. Like they've got to find a way, I think, to get him back. Like at least with him, like we've seen it this year. We've seen it in a Gamecock uniform. It's there, but whatever the issue is there, I think got to get him back going if you're going to be able to make some type of run at this thing. I look at what has happened the last 4 days, and we know it can shift back the other way in a hurry. It wasn't that long ago they just lost to Charleston midweek last week. But the last 4 games, you have done what you were supposed to do, I think, against opponents that you either have more talent than or at least are kind of on par with when it comes to Missouri. Anytime you go on the road in the SEC and get a sweep, like I don't think you ever expect a sweep. Like I think it was okay for fans to say, hey, we can go to Missouri and win 2 of 3, but you never put the expectation on a sweep. So to do what they've done the last 4 games, it does give you a little bit of momentum. Mississippi State comes in. They're coming to your place. They're, I would say, feel like another vulnerable SEC team at this point. They've had some good and some bad this year, has Mississippi State. So, yeah, you maybe it sets up to where it's not that far-fetched to think that you could reel off another SEC win as a series this weekend. And I know Monty downplayed it, but to me, there is something about just seeing that record up there and you not being under 500. And I'm not saying the guys are just staring at that number, but 19-19, just visually, I'm not saying it looks pretty by any means, but it looks a heck of a lot more pretty than 18-20, which is what it would have been if you lost yesterday. So there is a psychological, you've dug yourself out of a little hole here. Can you keep some of this momentum going into this weekend?
Well, and the guys, need some confidence. They've needed confidence. You saw that in the early part of the season when they were struggling and the body language wasn't always great. And, that caused so many conversations about making a coaching change. And then that ultimately happened, right? So even though the results still have not been what you had hoped for, have they been better in spots? Yes, I think we could say that. Are the guys playing a little bit more loose, a little bit more confident? Yes. And that does matter if you're going to try to turn around. Doesn't mean it'll happen, right? But if things had continued on that same trajectory and track where nothing changed, I don't think anybody feels like the results would have actually changed. What you have seen is maybe you get a little bit of a door crack, a little bit of a window. And what the reality of the situation is, you're no longer in a place where you can go and survive. I don't think getting swept in another SEC series, that just can't happen. You need to go win, frankly, several series going forward to keep this thing a conversation. Wes, you hit on this, but Mississippi State, some good, some bad. They're sitting there at 27-10. They're 7-8 in the SEC. They have lost 6 straight SEC games, 2 straight sweeps. Tennessee, Georgia. The Georgia series was extremely close. It was kind of like South Carolina's series with Georgia. They had 1 extra inning game that they lost. I think they lost maybe 1 or both games by 1 run, 2 runs. Very, very close series, but they're scuffling a little bit. They've lost 6 straight. does that matter for this weekend? I don't know, but I think you use the word vulnerable. Maybe you look at this series, if you're a Gamecock fan, a little bit differently than you did several weeks ago before the Bulldogs had dropped 6 straight. So is there a little opening, and can you take advantage of it if you're South Carolina? If you win this series, you know, who knows? Go on a little run, see what happens. But frankly, at this point, it's one that you do need to go win to kind of keep that conversation going.
Yeah, not only that, Mississippi State's lost those 2 series consecutively at home, too. They got Georgia and Tennessee in Starkville the past 2 weeks, couldn't get any wins in either one of those, and now they're going on the road where, again, it's challenging across the entirety of the SEC.
Guys, where do you think South Carolina is in the RPI now?
Oh, didn't we say yesterday they jumped up quite a bit?
Yes.
I don't know where they're at, but I know they took a pretty big leap.
Yeah, where any guesses at all?
28.
I got no clue. And the funny thing is I saw it yesterday and still can't remember. I've got no guess.
75th.
Oh, okay. I was way off.
28, Tyler?
I don't know. It was a significant jump.
I was actually going to say 80. So
I didn't know how low they were to start with.
I mean, I thought 75 was like a pretty high number considering the lack of SEC wins this year. Yeah. Tyler's got them in the top 25.
You know what? I'm just a glass half full kind of guy. I'm optimistic.
But yeah, they I think they've jumped about 35 spots in the last 4 games. So another opportunity there. If to Tyler's point, like I don't think anybody's sitting here tracking the daily RPI in terms of whether South Carolina should be in the tournament yet. But if they were to reel off a few more wins and we start having that conversation, Mississippi State, despite what has happened the last 2 weekends, they had built up enough of a little bit of a resume. They're 23rd in the RPI. So an opportunity there to get some big wins at home this weekend. And I hope the fans will be out. Have we maybe seen a little bit of juice? Like, has it been re-energized just enough to where you get a little bit more of a crowd this weekend potentially?
Well, we can help you out with that because I have 2 family 4-packs for Saturday's game 2 against Mississippi State for callers number 3 and 4 right now at 803-404-6100. Again, 2 family 4-packs for game 2 on Saturday. First pitch at 1 o'clock over at Founders Park. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the hour. What's the latest on men's basketball in the transfer portal? We'll tell you next. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs here on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
South Carolina head baseball coach Paul Maneri has been let go. Monty Lee is the interim coach, and possible candidates are already emerging.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. We're in week 11, and we're already talking about jobs. What a world we're in.
Keep it here on The Game as we follow every rumor. Girlfriend.
No fluff. No filler. That's good enough for me.
Your home of all Gamecocks gossip. 107.5 The Game and The Game Network.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
Deni Avdija of the Portland Trailblazers announced himself to the world last night as a big-time player with 41 points, including the game-winning and one, as the Blazers upset the Suns in Phoenix to advance to a first-round playoff series against the San Antonio Spurs. Avdija has been a tremendous player all season long with the way he can get to the free throw line and bull his way into the paint. And last night, the nation saw it on full display from Avdija. I'm Nick Costos.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now that Wendy's has these new biggie deals, everyone in the family can get what they're craving, from nugs to JBCs. The parental units can get an $8 biggie bundle, the eldest who think they're so grown can get a $6 biggie bag, and the little one who can do no wrong can get a $4 biggie bites. You know, assuming they have a credit card. No, I'm kidding. We take cash too. 4, 6, and $8 biggie deals for the whole family. Only at Wendy's.
Price and participation may vary. Single items at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska, California, and Hawaii.
This is an important message for anyone struggling with $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or personal loans. Due to ongoing inflation, job loss, and the rising cost of living, many Americans are facing overwhelming credit card balances. If you're drowning in credit card debt, you may qualify for powerful debt relief options currently being offered by National Debt Relief that can significantly reduce what you owe. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a debt consolidation loan. You could qualify for this debt relief option and only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe. Act now to see if you qualify. With thousands of 5-star reviews online and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, National Debt Relief has helped over 1 million consumers with their debt that qualified for this relief option. So don't wait. Call the Debt Reduction Hotline now. Dial 800-649-6464. 800-649-6464. That's 800-649-6464. This is an important message for anyone struggling with $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or personal loans. Due to ongoing inflation, job loss, and the rising cost of living, many Americans are facing overwhelming credit card balances. If you're drowning in credit card debt, you may qualify for powerful debt relief options currently being offered by National Debt Relief that can significantly reduce what you owe. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a debt consolidation loan. You could qualify for this debt relief option and only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe. Act now to see if you qualify. With thousands of 5-star reviews online and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, National Debt Relief has helped over 1 million consumers with their debt that qualified for this relief option. So don't wait. Call the Debt Reduction Hotline now. Dial 800-649-6464. 800-649-6464. That's 800-649-6464.
The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Tyler Head, along with Chris Clark and Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central. Sponsored by Firehouse Subs. Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
Welcome back in. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs. Tyler, Wes, and Chris wrapping up the hour here on your Wednesday on the Game. Halftime show with myself and Bill Gunner coming up next. We are a week and a half into the transfer portal being open for men's and women's basketball. And to say, and talking about men's basketball here, to say the fan base is on edge, I think would be an understatement when you have so many holes to fill because basically your entire team either ran out of eligibility or left and transferred elsewhere. Understandable while we're anxiously waiting to see who else is going to join Corey Mincy's commitments out of the transfer portal for South Carolina. And in the past day or so, a couple of the potential targets, including our guy, the Turkish Tower, Samet Yigitolu, has committed to Indiana, as well as Riley Allenspach, another George Mason player, has committed to Cincinnati. So it's not to the point where people are panicking yet, but you would hopefully like to see some more commitments start rolling in here very soon to, again, fill a lot of the holes that you have on this team, considering the roster flip from one year to the next.
So upset about our guy, Yigitolu, Tyler.
We got so good at saying his name.
We got so good at saying his name in the last 7 days that was really hoping that would happen. But, yeah, that, you know, I think with Allenspach, that one, that was a little bit more of a, they're maybe involved, he's maybe interested. Didn't feel like it was quite as solid as it was with Yigitolu where, you know, it pretty much came down to South Carolina and Indiana, and you're right there with the guy. You've been competitive. You are prioritizing. You're willing to, you know, frankly, put some money on the table, and it doesn't work out for you. And then I think the other big one, Tyler, I know you've been here in the studio, but Carter Knox, who was a target we knew was someone South Carolina was highly interested in, committed to Louisville this morning. So that's another one off the board. Obviously, you know, you're going to miss on more guys than you're going to hit. Like that's just the numbers of it. But certainly getting Corey Mincy committed to start off, I know they would have liked to have added a couple, you know, maybe of one of these big guys and maybe a wing at this point, and it seems like those were a couple of their priority targets. We'll see who do they pivot to, who else have they kind of been quietly working where just the name hasn't emerged yet. You know, I'm not sure But now following portal recruiting, as we say in football, not for the faint of heart. Typically, you are going to miss on more than you're going to hit just because of the numbers. But, yeah, certainly they are in a spot where they need to start checking some of these boxes because you've got a ton of roles to fill on this roster going into next year.
Well, and Wes, I'm going to bring up an example you brought up several weeks ago when we were kind of prepping for the Hoops portal. Remember that year, Carolina's looking for a point guard, and they were involved with several guys, and it looked like they were down the road with several guys who ended up going to other programs, right? And you kind of got to pivot. Corey Mincy was a guy that certainly appeared to have had every appearance of a top target. They were able to land him. That's a good get, right? He appeared to be a top guy that they got. And so you check that box, and that's good. But to your point, they have so many other needs, and I think people – always try to construct the board in your head, and these targets emerge early. We obviously don't know every single target, but just based on what you see and what you hear behind the scenes, you can construct, hey, this looks like some of their top guys at multiple positions. And as they start falling off, it's, I think, very natural to say, okay, who's next? What's the plan, right? Do you have to pivot to guys that maybe aren't as potentially impactful? Now you've gone from, hey, Corey Mincy plus the Turkish Tower plus, hey, maybe if you think they can get Carter Knox and Rowan Brumbaugh. But a couple of those guys are now out of the equation, and so it's very natural to wonder what's next. I think another point we talk about too, guys, even though South Carolina absolutely is following through with, having more NIL money this offseason to spend and build the roster, it is still recruiting. You do still have to go out there. Other schools have money too. Other schools have obviously, some of them had better seasons and trajectories than South Carolina as of late. So everybody likes to say, oh, it's only about money nowadays. That's a huge equation. There's no doubt, particularly in the portal. But there are still battles, that you have to go win. And no matter who they end up with, it's got to be the right mix. So I think at a couple spots, maybe, guys, it's a little bit more back to the drawing board, or certainly I'm sure there's more of a plan behind the scenes than we even know about. But I think people are going to be wondering, hey, what is next with some of these guys off the board?
Well, the latest thing we know is Rowan Brumbaugh was on campus earlier on this week for an official visit. Again, Corey Mincy committed in the midst of his visit the other day, so we haven't gotten anything new on Brumbaugh as of right now. He is, being courted by a lot of other schools. Cincinnati, last I read, was maybe the favorite for him. He's also still testing the waters and maybe going to the NBA draft as well. So that's kind of the name that Carolina's the closest to maybe getting something out of next. And again, Kevin Miller and you guys over at Gamecock Central have been all over, things in terms of who's coming on campus and when. But you get a guy on campus, you feel like you got a good shot at him, and we'll see if we get any news from Brumbaugh, here soon. He would obviously be a great addition to building that backcourt alongside Corey Mincy.
Yeah, and I think the other guy people are maybe curious about is Fulgaris from Iowa, who is in the portal and is a target for South Carolina as well. There's been some chatter. I haven't directly confirmed that he's visiting South Carolina. There have been, some Twitter reports that he is visiting South Carolina. I've heard that's a possibility. Also, some chatter of Louisville there. So that's the kid that hit the big shot for Iowa against Florida. Kind of a versatile guy, 6'10", could shoot the basketball. It's probably more of a forward than a true center, but, someone that is definitely connected with South Carolina. Like I have confirmed, there is some mutual interest there. So that would be another guy to keep an eye on, I think, moving forward, Tyler.
We'll stay on top of it and let you know whenever we hear anything different. That'll do it for the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs. Coming up next, halftime show here on the game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown